Hello and welcome back everyone to the Hollister MacIntyre franchise here on my channel, and I'm excited to bring to you the first epilogue as we did officially end the series here. And essentially this is full 32 team control by me. Now a lot of it's left to auto, but I'm overseeing everything like this puppeteer really for this league. Still overall in charge of the Black Knights, but we're gonna go ahead and go through this season, the first one following the final season of the series. We're gonna watch some of the more impactful games here. We're starting off with the Black Knights versus Black Knights, by the way, now in London, having moved from Salt Lake City. I thought the uniforms just looked cooler. We're taking on Kirk Doherty, Denzel Haswit, Jay Stannis, and the San Francisco 49ers. So a game would start tied here. Kyle Linehan in his final year of his contract with these Black Knights as he finds Dylan Murdoch, who is also technically in his final year of his contract. Really got to see which of these young guys we're going to be bringing back and which ones are going to be left to the dust here. And now Linehan, look at this throw here by him, finding Sterling Shepard, who we brought back actually. Really nice little sidearm there. Really liked having Sterling Shepard back on the roster, even though he was getting quite a bit older at this point. Linehan not able to lead a successful drive there on the first drive of the series. This will be around 2 hours, I believe, after it's all said and done. Still not finished editing. Obviously doing some commentary now. So grab yourself some popcorn, as I said in the Olympia epilogue. Get comfortable. Pause it lots. Have some intermissions. This one's going to go a ways as Dominic DeHavreau is one of the young wide receivers on this very talented San Francisco wide receiving core. Denzel Haswit, of course, we know about him. One of the tiniest players in the league right now. Actually officially listed at the tiniest player at 5'6", as starting running back. And of course they still have George Kittle there at tight end. Really dominant team still. A lot of good pieces on this San Francisco team. And now that they've moved on from Garoppolo, it's kind of a question of who is going to fill in the void at QB. Will it be Jay Stannis? Now, Black Knights back on offense, and this is the new running back, Joe Beckham. You may have watched some of the live stream that was, whenever this releases, quite a while ago. Joe Beckham, someone we signed that I thought would have a really good year here, as Lance Roach taking this one, cuts in, cuts out, gets down to the 10-yard line, and that's just what Lance Roach can do. Really, really impressive play here by him. And then staying in the game. He'll be in pass protection though, as 2nd and 8, and Linehan's going to roll left, and we'll find Maverick Barnes here for the touchdown, as the Black Knights would score first against San Francisco. Of course, score would be 14-10 here in the second quarter. We will be flying through a lot of these games. I'm actually going to turn down my microphone just a little bit here, just a smidgen. And the 49ers would score there, or get a first down there, as the first half winding down. Jay Stannis, nice find here to Dominic DeHavreau. Only one timeout left. This will leave 13 seconds left in the half, and the 49ers would go for it. Obviously, not gonna take a knee here, but that would end the half. And Black Knights would go into the second half with that 4-point lead. Let's see if they could hold on to it. Well, first throw here to Derek Fitzpatrick. Really nice play there, and he hangs on to it. Of course, a lot of these players in this league I'm interested to learn about. This first epilogue might be a little tough as we have a deep shot here broken up, intended for Maverick Barnes. I'm excited to learn about a lot of these guys and see what their skill sets are, as Sean Stevens getting this one broken up. And 17-14 your score here in the fourth quarter. Kirk Doherty taking this carry, only his second of the game. Of course, he's going to be playing second fiddle most of the year to Denzel Haswit, who gets the throw here on 3rd and 5. Angle route on Mitch Newman there, down to the 42. 1st and 10 now. Than is dropping back. Has a really strong arm on him, as Dominic DeHavreau catches this one down to the 34-yard line. Danis really just doesn't have the accuracies to go with it. Really never got a chance to develop in New Orleans, rather. And here he is going to score. That's Denzel Haswit, as the 49ers take a commanding lead over the Black Knights. And this one was not looking good. 10-point deficit here, 6 minutes left in the game. How about a throw to Maverick Barnes, and he'll catch this one down to the 21. Maverick Barnes always is able to be open on some of these deep routes. catches that one. Now finding Lance Roach here on the screen. Lance is going to juke inside, and he'll run this one into the end zone for the score, as the Black Knights would now only find themselves down 3 points. So 24-21. Under center, Kai rolling out left here. And he's going to stop and pop this one to Maverick Barnes. Maverick will get hit down at the 36-yard line. Touchdown here would give the Black Knights essentially the victory. A field goal would lead to overtime. Now Kai Linehan rolling out, throwing this one to Joe Beckham. And he has a first down there. Actually breaks the tackle and gets down to the 43. And this will be 1st and 10 at the 43. Now 2nd down and 2. Handoff, Beckham up the middle. And he's got a first down once again. Black Knights continuing to drive here as they are really just showing up in San Francisco. Of course, it's a lot of adjustment here for the players to go to London. I realize it's not super realistic as Maverick Barnes getting down to the 2-yard line. But I really like the uniforms, so I really just wanted to go with the Black Knights. And we'll say Kai Linehan moves from Utah to London, I suppose. Handoff Joe Beckham up the middle. And he's stuffed. 30 seconds left in this game. 4th and goal. Black Knights go for the win. Handoff Mensah, touchdown. And now San Francisco would need a full touchdown to win. They would not get it. 28-24, your first game in this epilogue. Black Knights take the win over the 49ers, and we're already into our next game here. The Vikings taking on the Cardinals. Now, one thing I want to get straight is that a lot of this epilogue will be not played. I will not actually be in command of it. The first game, I just wanted to play with the Black Knights to test out the new team. I really wanted to get a feel for some of the players, but I would like most of the play in this final, you know, however many epilogues I do to be simulated where I watch slow sim style. That's Kyler to Jay Sternberger to start off this game here. Cardinals, I really wanted to watch them because their defense has a lot of amazing pieces on it. You got Javius Bentley, who's fantastic, Ramon Jeffries, 2 edge rushers there. It's a nice screen pass here to DeAndre Swift, who was our former running back in this series. You also have Kai Allen, the strong safety that I passed on, or didn't really pass on, but I lost out a chance to draft. And then the Vikings, of course, as Tyler Davis is going to get hit here. I do jump into this game. You'll notice Tyler Davis is going to run the same play-action rollout. It was using a custom playbook that I had and not actually using the legitimate Vikings playbook. So I'd have to take control in this game to go ahead and make sure they ran correct plays. Of course, we got Tyler Davis on this team. Tyler Zandelay actually got drafted to the Vikings to play edge rusher. And then you have James McIntosh, who got drafted in the 1st round, the #1 pick to the Vikings. As this is a nice throw here down to the 36-yard line. Cardinals having some success on offense, but not able to score just yet. Kyler Murray dropping back. He'll take off and run, and he will be sacked there. Really nice play. Danielle Hunter still in Minnesota, still tearing things up with the Vikings. Now in the 2nd quarter. Kyler going to roll left, and he'll take off and run with this one. Has a blocker in front of him, but would not actually get out to help. That's Christian Kirk, who is still on the Cardinals. And that would be 4th down. They would go for it here. Cardinals going to find their target down at the 28, or down to the 18 rather, from the 28. As the Cardinals would get in scoring range now. Handoff, DeAndre Swift up the middle, and he would score. Cardinals would take the first lead of the game for them, as the Vikings have previously had a 3-0 lead. Now we see one more rollout here. This one thrown to Irv Smith, and that was about enough for me. I realized the pattern finally, and I checked into the game. So let's see if I can make Tyler Davis look good. Well, how about finding Justin Jefferson? I have longed to throw to someone like Justin Jefferson in this series. Finally got to do it. How about Irv Smith? He's really good. Finding him there for about a 15-yard gain. And the gun here, handoff. And that's a nice play. That'll be down to about the 22-yard line. That's Jim Morrison, the running back. They no longer have DJ Dallas. Now the Vikings throwing this one. That one is caught. A really nice play there down to the 39 as we're running out of time. Only one timeout. I wanted one more shot here. Tyler Davis dropping back, throwing this one up. Justin Jefferson, and he would score. That's what it's like playing with a true #1 wide receiver. J-Jeff scores. And now we would go back to simulation, as some of this will be normal sim. Dean Dubois actually getting an interception there on the Cardinals. So not all of it's going to be slow sim. but I do want a lot of it to be. Danielle Hunter getting another sack here, his third of the day, taking down Kyler Murray. I thought the Vikings defense just looked better than the Cardinals defense, even though I feel like the Cardinals defense has better pieces. Of course, we really hadn't seen anything by James McIntosh to this point, or Tyler Zandelay, as Quinnen Williams is on this team as well. Don't forget about him. Back on offense again here late in the game. Kyler Murray doing it himself, taking off and running, and he'd get down to the 46-yard line of the Vikings, as he's putting them in at least threatening range. They need 2 touchdowns with 8 minutes left. Murray scrambling outside of the pocket, and he would be met. Ball would be stripped out, picked up, and this one would go back for 6, as the Vikings would put the finishing touches on a game that really was a defensive masterclass for the team that I think has a chance to show up in the postseason. Final stats from this game: Tyler Davis not super efficient, but does finish with 3 touchdowns. 5 interceptions for Kyler Murray, not his game here. Of course, we didn't really get to see any, unfortunately. 6 turnovers total with that fumble. Receiving game was pretty good. Justin Jefferson had an alright game. And then on defense, these Vikings were everywhere. Really solid day from them. Unfortunately, just didn't see a whole lot from anybody else. Danielle Hunter with 4 sacks. Quinnen Williams gets in on the action. Javis Bentley did finish with a half sack, but that's definitely not what we expect from him. James McIntosh even gets in on the action in simulation and gets an interception of his own in his first NFL game. Really happy to see that for him. Really wish I could have had him on my team, but when you are good enough to make the playoffs, you're not good enough to pick number 1. That's just how it is. Let's watch another Black Knights game here. Of course, they are still my team. I'm still going to be making the decisions for them, unlike all the other teams. The main decisions, that is. And our first game here against the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes would take this one and roll out, and he'd get down to the 47-yard line. Of course, Patrick Mahomes still the best player in this series. Hasn't really lost that title here. Going to take a big effort from the defense today to win this one. And Mahomes showing his magic here would officially go down as a sack on the play. Mitch Newman and Chance Fortunata, but should have been a bigger sack there. 3-0 start here for the Chiefs, and Dre Morris getting his first carry of the game. Really excited to see what he can do. Jacoby Declan now taking a carry himself, and he'll pick up a first down there. 12-yard run for Jacoby. Now 1st and 10, it's a play action rollout for Kai, and he would stop, pop, and find his target there. That's Davide Flake, now in his 2nd season. I thought he looked really good. I think he's a solid player here, still mostly a blocking tight end, but someone you definitely want on your roster. Could also play fullback sometimes in spot scenarios. Lance Roach having some pretty good running success now. Kai Linehan going to do another play action, and he'll find Flake down to the 6-yard line. As you know, I like to run a lot of play action. I think having a solid running team can open up that play action. And when you hit play action deep, it's just one of the better plays to get your guys open. 3rd and goal here, and this would go down as a strip sack. Unfortunately, Kai could not get the ball out there. And now it was a foot race. Mitch Flaherty would track them down there. That's David Estrada down to the 45. And the Chiefs' defense was really solid. Of course, their offense, we know how good it is. Now a deep throw, Dylan Murdoch hanging on to the ball. Not necessarily his forte there, but Murdoch was already showing early in the season he could be the #1 wide receiver on this team. And it was, of course, his contract season as he breaks the tackle there, and unfortunately my running means he doesn't get a touchdown there. But Murdoch looking like the dominant player on this offense. And how about this interception here? Juan Thornhill somehow intercepting this one. Didn't look good to me, but the refs rule it good. And now we're doing some simulation as Trey Flowers on this team. I'm excited to have him back. Makes a play, but unfortunately CEH will get the first down. Of course, they have Aaron Jones as well, so we still get to see him. But Chris Harris III would pick off Patrick Mahomes, and we would get the ball back. 9-0 here in the 3rd quarter. Kai throwing this one deep for Dylan, and look at the plays Dylan's making. He's been excellent today, and I've really enjoyed watching him to start this year. Of course, we'll see if he can sustain the success. Now Kai throwing this one out to Maverick Barnes on the comeback, and he'll catch this one down to the 8. So really good 1-2 punch between Barnes and Murdoch. It's really filling in the other slots on this team. Almost throwing a pick here to John Schweiss, the former Olympia player. And Linehan might be used to that one. As this gets broken off for Murdoch, and that would force 4th and goal where we would go for it here. And Linehan throwing this one towards the end zone. Gets picked off there. You may remember that name. That's Tamani Bulware, the former Flyer cornerback that we had. Now starting for the Chiefs, and unfortunately this game was just getting out of hand. They also had Dante Jackson, by the way. And we would do some more normal simming here as Linehan trying to get the offense going. And he would be targeting Derek Fitzpatrick a lot this series. Sean Stevens gets a touch, and then Maverick Barnes drops a pass. Of course, we'll go for it here on 4th, and it's a run to Kosi. Interception by John Schweiss, and unfortunately that would seal the game here. Again, another interception by an Olympia player that we just didn't get to watch. It happens on simulation. But John Schweiss intercepts Kai Linehan for the second time that game. Or no, for the first. He dropped the first one. And they would win. Well, after what I've seen from Dylan Murdoch, I think it's time to give him a mega extension here. 4 years, $50 million. Now, I will go back and bump some of these contracts in between epilogues. You might notice his contract gets inflated a little bit. I didn't think that $12.5 million a year was really correct for him. Jeremy Colbert's a hidden development UDFA wide receiver here out of Wake Forest. I wanted to bring him on a multi-year deal. In real life, you wouldn't have to sign a rookie to a 1-year deal. Unfortunately, you do in this game. Something else that I wanted to do in this series, get younger quarterbacks a chance to start. So we're going to see David Robinson as well as Zach Hurd start here for the Jets and the Patriots respectively. And now a really fun game I've been excited to see all season. Tyler Davis versus Kyler Garrett. I know these two have already battled quite a few times. I wanted to see it in person. And here we would go as the Vikings take on the Bears in Minnesota. Was really excited to watch these guys. Garrett's someone we didn't get to see a whole lot in Olympia. He only started for 1 season. Backed up Kai Linehan most of his career and then went early to the pros. And you can see why. He has the arm talent. He has the ability. And he might be the second best quarterback in this league at this point. As Garrett pushing this one down the field. Of course, Tyler Davis we got to see only a few times at Indiana. And now Garrett throwing this one down the field, and that is caught down to the 17-yard line. Unfortunately for Kyler Garrett, I feel like the Bears have mismanaged a bit. He used to have a really solid wide receiver core and tight ends, and he still has Evan Ingram and Cole Kmet, so his tight end core is really good still. But they have slacked a bit on building up this offense, and more importantly, they've slacked on building up this defense, it feels. They haven't really replaced the loss of Khalil Mack. As Garrett would keep this one, does have some speed, walks that one into the end zone untouched, and that's the first score for the Bears. We'd see how Tyler Davis and the Vikings would fare, however. I did have the playbooks fixed this time, so Davis actually gets a chance to run something other than a play-action bootleg. First drive here for Davis. He would sit in the pocket and throw this one to Justin Jefferson. If you don't know, that is his favorite target. Why wouldn't it be? Now a handoff here up the middle, and that would be a first down as James Morrison gets about 10 yards on that run. Now 1st and 10 under center here for these Vikings. They also have a solid tight end and wide receiver core. Irv Smith, one of the better tight ends. Not one of the best, though. Nice run here. Morrison looking very solid as RB1 in Minnesota. Of course, they have Philip Jimenez on the bench, and we didn't really get to see him in their first game, but I think he'll get a lot of scat back touches as well as all the kick return duty. And this would go to 4th and 5, and the Vikings would kick the field goal. Now doing a little slow sim in between. Kyler Garrett finding Jamarcus Lockhart for a 25-yard pass there, then George McManus, as Garrett would get his pass knocked away by Marcus Lucas. Nice run here. David Montgomery still on the Bears in this series. I kind of forgot about that. Garrett gets 2 passes knocked down in a row, and then would get sacked for a 5-yard loss as this ball would go back to the Vikings. Of course, Carl Clements, their punter. Philip Jimenez with the return. Now let's see if the Vikings can do anything here as Tyler Davis finding Joe Morrison for a 15-yard gain, and then Irv Smith for a 10-yarder. A 4-yard run for Joe Morrison. And Davis finding Justin Jefferson, a very methodical drive that's just been unstoppable so far, but a pass knocked away there. 3rd and 3, and they'll pick up the first down. No, it was 4th and inches. They have to punt, and Brian Robinson punts for him. So back on offense here for the Bears. We'll get to watch a little bit more. The obviously slow sim might not be the most exciting bits, but I definitely couldn't watch all the footage this season this video is already going to be over 2 hours long. I didn't need to watch every single moment of every single game. Nice throw here to Lockhart. Down to the 35-yard line. Now 3rd and 10. Garrett with that cannon arm. Throws this one in the dirt. Wasn't really a characteristic game for him, as Davis now gets the ball again. Of course, we know Davis more of a game manager, a field general. Doesn't have the biggest arm. Really just likes to throw it short with good accuracy. And almost throwing a pick here. Not really Davis not known to throw a lot of picks in his career. And then airs it out here, and this one's caught by Irv Smith down to the 10. Irv Smith down to the 3-yard line as the Vikings stretching the field a little bit. Down to the 3, now the 1. 2nd and goal handoff. That's Philip Jimenez checking in for power back duties. I'm not sure they figured out their depth chart correctly, but Philip Jimenez scores. Good for him. And now the Bears on the back foot. We'll do a little more simulating here. 6-yard run for Garrett. Garrett throwing the ball down the field 10 yards there. And then a throwaway. Of course, one thing I might want to experiment is going a little faster on some of these simulations. You'll have to let me know in the comments. How do you prefer this going forward? I'm definitely open to suggestion. This is the first really content I've done like this, and it's definitely daunting, but it's been very exciting as Kyler Garrett's still pushing this ball down the field. Bingham looks to be shaken up on the play. Finding Ty Crease. So the Olympia player Ty Crease now on Kyler Garrett's team. Of course, he's not going to get too many touches, but he will be inside that top 4 wide receiver rotation, and the Bears will score a touchdown here. We'll check back in the second quarter. Another play here for Kyler Garrett, and this one's over the middle, and this one's for 6. We come in, and immediately the Bears score and win, not win, but finish this half with the lead, as that's George McManus. 21-10 your score, as the Vikings are in a bit of a deficit now. This one not going anywhere. That is a stop for a loss. 2nd and 10. Davis now in the gun. Let's see if they throw it this time. Another thing I'll probably want to do is start running run balance playbooks and see if we can get more running backs involved in this game. A lot of the playbooks tend to be pass heavy. You'll notice mostly airing it out from these teams and less splits. Nice throw here down to the 45. And now it's 1st and 10 at the 45. Davis in the gun. I expect to see mostly passing at this point. Not that you need to. You're definitely not in the position to do that. And this one's a live ball. Strip sack akin to the Kai Linehan sack in the Chiefs game. And the Bears come up with the ball there. And now we will simulate and see what they can do with that. Kyler Garrett making the best of it so far. Has to throw that one away. And then a 14-yard pass to Jamarcus Lockhart. They're now inside the red zone. 5-yard penalty by David Montgomery. And then a 5-yard run to negate the penalty, kind of. And a 5-yard penalty against the defense. So we're all washed. And then Danielle Hunter with the penalty. So at the 2-yard run by Garrett, can't score. And then Garrett passed to George McManus on the goal line for a touchdown. Bears with the ball once again, 28-10. And if they score here, it might just be game over. 15-yard penalty by Danielle Hunter after a sack. That's a way to wipe out a play. And the Bears looking like they're capitalizing off these penalties. Garrett finds Montgomery on a pass for a touchdown. And the Bears would come away with this win. We didn't get to see a whole lot of fireworks other than a few plays by Kyler Garrett. Finding McManus on that seam was one really nice play, but the Bears come away with the victory, and I want to see them return to glory. After that first season, that rookie year for Kyler Garrett, I feel like they kind of didn't impress all that much. I think they have a chance to be really, really good. I think once Patrick Mahomes retires, they'll have the best QB in the NFL. And a 6-tutty, 1-interception game for Garrett definitely shows that he has some talent here. Even tacked on 32 and a touchdown, so 7-touchdown day for Kyler. Really impressive stuff there. The Vikings, of course, I think have a star-studded roster as well, but it's going to take some time. They've got a lot of rookie power. They just need to gel. And then, of course, the Bears defense is starting to age. They need to build up their defense. Let's take a look at the standings here. As you can see, who all's at the top. At the bottom, the Raiders. Baron Gajkowski not doing too well here. You can see some of the other teams that are down in the dumps. Of course, Zach Hurd now starting for these Patriots that are considering the season, I think, lost by this point. 1-3. You're going to go ahead and put in some fresh blood. Black Knights also starting 1-3. Well, how about these Patriots? Zach Hurd, Nate Byron having to check in as Josh Allen seems to be hurt. and Hurd leading the Patriots over division rival. The Black Knights then losing to Arizona. They drop again, and it's not looking good for their season, as they barely made the playoffs last season, and it's not necessarily even looking good for them to make it this year. Theo Clements, your leading receiver in this game. Maverick Barnes really dropping a stinker. And then on defense, Byron Murphy with an interception. A sack for Williams, but not much. How about the Colts? Miguel Stanley leading over Daniel Jones, who's still the starter here in Tennessee. We'll see how long it takes before Wesley Dunmore takes over for him. And these Colts, led by Miguel Stanley, they might be trying to finally make a run to the postseason here as Zach Schuster gets a few yards. One trade I wanted to make was sending Tre'Davious White to the San Francisco 49ers. I figured with the Patriots looking to use Zach Hurd for the rest of the season, White wouldn't want to be in San Francisco, and the 49ers have a chance to win now still. Dan is not really getting it done for them. He will be backing up Tre'Davious White now, and then Wesley Dunmore officially moved into the starting lineup for these Tennessee Titans that are not doing great, and we will get to watch this game. And I am so excited to see Zach Schuster and Wesley Dunmore still on the same team. It reminds me a lot of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And of course we know the damage that Burrow did with his friend there in Cincinnati, and I think the Titans have a chance to do something similar. Dunmore, I think, could be a really special player here in the NFL. I think he's got a better skill set than we ever realized he would have. But the Colts and Miguel Stanley really looking to make some noise as well, as Eddie Jong takes this first run here for a first down. Of course, he'll get to reconnect with his teammates after this game. I'm going to take a quick drink of water here. Now, an option for Miguel Stanley, and the ball is out. Picked up there. Pounds with the recovery, and the Titans will get the ball back with great field position here. And out comes Wesley Dunmore, his first start of the year. He's thrown 3 passes all season in backup duty. And now we'll get to see what he can do with the offense in his command. Guess what? The offense is still Derrick Henry's. Just give him the ball and let him work. That's the wonderful thing for Wesley Dunmore here. Now throwing this one down the field, and that is broken up. They also still have A.J. Brown. So you've got A.J. Brown, Zach Schuster, and Derrick Henry. You've got all you need on offense as a quarterback to survive. Just trust him. Derrick Henry with a hurdle here, and I hadn't quite seen a running back play like this. And he hurdles the player there. Really impressive by him. Seeing one of the best, if not the best, in the business. Now Wesley Dunmore rolling out right, going to throw it to Derrick Henry, who will stretch his arm out. These are animations I've never seen when I've been playing Madden 21. Now, if you're watching my Madden 25 series, we'll see a lot of these animations, as this is a touchdown. You may remember that name. That's Ernie Stachelski, the former Flyer. We're going to do some simulation here. Miguel Stanley finding Eddie Jong. Mitch Meadows checks in for a run there. Really good running back tandem here for the Colts. Michael Pittman, a solid wide receiver. And Miguel Stanley gets sacked by Jalen Knighton. Now finding Clyde Schmidt for 9 yards. And a first down here for... No, actually it's going to be short, as Rosas will have to kick a field goal. Dunmore finding A.J. Brown now back on offense, and then has to throw a pass away. 4-point lead, and finding Zach Schuster for 9 yards here now. 5-yard run by Derrick Henry. Need the Titans to go ahead and score here, and they'll feel pretty solid on this game so far, especially against the Colts team that's looked pretty good to start the year. But unfortunately, they will not be able to convert that first down. And now we'll check back in with the Colts on offense. Miguel Stanley getting some time in the pocket and misses everything on that throw. He had Michael Pittman open for a touchdown. Now throwing this one underneath. That one will be short of a first down. That's Mitch Meadows. And they would eventually get the first down. 2nd and 10 now. This one would be picked off. Dory Jackson. Stanley not looking very good here, despite the early success for the Colts this season. It's the same old Miguel Stanley, who just might not be the future of this team. Now Derrick Henry with great field position here. It's going to be hard to screw this one up. Nice run there, as Henry has a 6.5-yard average so far. Hand off Henry. He'll walk into the end zone. He won't go down. And the Titans score here. Of course, the Colts have stacks J.J. Hammonds, as well as Vaznevi Kananalopoulos. But, I mean, the Titans offense is really, really good, although they will go 3 and out here. So back on offense for the Colts. Finding Eddie Jong for 22 yards, and that's what I wanted to see from Eddie Jong. I think he's getting great touches as a 3rd down back. Mitch Meadows comes in when you need a power run, and unfortunately gets stuffed here on goal line, and they'll have to kick another field goal. So 6-14 the score now. Under center, Dunmore is definitely comfortable there. He finds AJ Brown streaking down the sideline, the 20, the 10, and Brown will be taken down at the 4-yard line. Again, I think Dunmore's very comfortable with the 5-step drop from under center. He's got great wide receivers here. Now a handoff to Derrick Henry will be stuffed on 3rd and goal, and that would go nowhere. So 17-6 your score. Titans, we're gonna get to see a little bit more of their offense here, and I thought if they put one more touchdown down, I might simulate the rest of this game. Dunmore scrambling out, throwing this one. Nice play on the run here, finding Zach Schuster. This was the best play of Dunmore's young career. Of course, not a lot of plays to look at yet. Really nice play outside the pocket. Now again, scrambling outside the pocket, and he'll just tuck the ball and run with it. We know Wesley Dunmore's a runner. He'll pick up the first down. No, it'd actually be marked inches short, but they would eventually pick it up anyway. Play action here to Derrick Henry. Can you imagine running play action with Henry on your team as Zach Schuster drops a ball from Dunmore? That's unlike him. Now Dunmore on 1st and goal, takes off and runs with this one. Dunmore sliding down at the 3. If he were in college still, he might have gone for the end zone there, but it's a different game in the NFL. Especially with Derrick Henry, you might just run the ball, but they only get 2, 4th and goal at the 1. Titans would go for it. No, they'd actually kick a field goal. I don't get that decision there. Well, I don't control the teams in game, so nothing I can do. Dunmore still having great success this game. He's going to find AJ Brown, and then they're just going to rely on Derrick Henry here in the second half. Dunmore on offense, finding Brady Hawkins for a 13-yard gain, and a 6-yard run by Derrick Henry, and then a throwaway, and then a score, finding his college teammate Zach Schuster, and the Titans would walk away with an upset win here in Wesley Dunmore's first ever NFL start. Really was awesome to see. Stanley did not have a good game, unfortunately. I just didn't feel like he played up to his standard. Not that his standard's ever been that fantastic anyway. So the Titans might be a team to watch out for. They could have some sort of Bears or Vikings rookie season success. And I think with the offense they've got and a few of the pieces they have on defense, I mean, they're not bad on defense. They definitely could make some noise. Of course, the Colts, I think, still are a team to watch out for. Cananopolis and Stacks J.J. Hammonds are fantastic players. Now, Houston beating David Johnson in his rookie debut, but Johnson putting up some pretty good numbers here. 250, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. The Texans are a very good team in the AFC. Of course, they have T.J. Hawkinson still. And then the Saints beating the Falcons here. Did not expect this. Christian Armstrong in his first ever NFL start. Things were not working with Derek Flax. The Saints were not doing all that great. Of course, Dante Pettis, one of his targets there. And then New England winning a game against the Titans. Titans cannot follow up their success with another win. Zach Hurd in his second rookie game puts up almost 300 yards. Really good stat line for him. Running game just couldn't get it going. And on offense, Zach Schuster finally having an 80-plus yard performance here. Expected a little more though. Well, the Black Knights would win another game finally this season, and it would be with their defense. 3 interceptions for Kai Linehan, 3 interceptions for Jordan Love. 7-3 your final score. A barn burner of a game as Hugh Porter leads all receivers. Unfortunately, the offense sucked. The defense was really, really good though. Trey Harris flying around the field. TJ Benson getting some knockdowns, and Glenn Vereen getting some knockdowns for loss. And then a sack for Chance and a sack for Kenny Durkins. 1 interception for Bakari. And 1 interception for Elijah Davis and Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. After this game, I really wanted to bring back Chris Harris III. I think he's been our best wide receiver outside of Jeff Okudah, most reliable, and he would accept this offer. A very good deal there for him, locking him up for 3 years on a contract. I just felt more comfortable with him than Byron Handy. And we're going to move Dre Morris, the former Nebraska product, the rookie, to #1 running back. My rationale for this was, our offense was not working clearly. Lance Roach was not simulating well, and I wanted to see if Dre Morris would have just a chance to make us look better on offense. Now we're going to Gillette Stadium here to watch David Johnson take on fellow rookie Zach Hurd. And this would be a nice throw here. First pass of the game. The Jets having Foster Moreau and James Laughlin at tight end. Alvin Kamara at running back. So some definitely decent options here on offense. Nothing too fantastic for the New York Jets, though. Of course, they do have Shadon Foster, one of the best defensive players in the NFL. And then 3rd and 7 for David Johnson. Hit as he throws. This one not ruled a fumble, but that would be a punt. And out comes Zach Hurd, one of the slowest players in the NFL, but he does have a cannon for an arm. Of course, rocking those old school sleeves. I just can't get behind those. First play here for Zach Hurd, number 19. And this is a nice throw. This is to Sean Boss, the #1 wide receiver for the New England Patriots. Not very star-studded team here for New England, but they have some decent players. And nice throw here. That is Michael Gallup. And Cam Powell as well as one player they have. Now throwing this one deep and missing everything there. Zach Hurd now would find himself in on 3rd and 7 in the gun here. Of course, a lot of twin tight end for these Patriots. And Hurd would be hit as he goes to throw. Anderson with the sack. And if the pressure happens, there's just nothing you can do for Zach Hurd. He's not mobile. He doesn't even have functional mobility. He is a statue, a true statue in the pocket. So the Patriots on offense here. Darius Geis with the run. He would be injured on the play, however, as Zach Hurd would find Emmett Adams. Again, not a lot of names on this Patriots team, but I think they've still got some cap space, and I think they've got some room to grow. Nice touchdown there as the Patriots take the first lead of the game. David Johnson checking in, finds Alvin Kamara, but this one's going to be stopped for a loss. Nice play there by Griffin. It'd be 3rd down and 2. Quick throw out here. Caught for a first down as the Patriots are back on offense here. 1st and 10 after Sean Boss catches that one. Now 3rd and 10. Throwing this one underneath. That is caught, and that would go for about 5 yards, but nowhere near a first down. As Zach Hurd, 11 for 12 to start this game, but the offense not looking all that great. New York Jets would answer with a field goal, and now the Patriots back on offense will do some simming here. Michael Gallup dropping a pass. Zach Hurd throwing the ball away. And on 3rd and 10, finding Cam Powell for a first down. Zach Hurd, another throwaway. Would he have the weapons he needs to succeed here in New England? Not this year, I don't think, but he would find Juan Reed for 22 yards there. 5-yard run by Darius Geis. And then finding Juan Reed for another 12 yards down to the 1. Touchdown, Darius Geis, run up the middle. So the Jets down 4 now. Another chance for David Johnson here on offense. They finally scored a touchdown, by the way. It's 2nd in inches as they're down 4 points. Johnson in the gun now. And he would snap the ball here. Throw this one, and that is caught. That would get down to about the 29-yard line. A nice play there. Foster Moreau with the play. Of course, they have really solid tight end James Laughlin, who I did have some interest in drafting a few years back. I think Laughlin compares most to Davide Flake with a little more dynamic athleticism. Now Kamara running this one down to the 43. Laughlin primarily a run blocking tight end, but definitely has some pass catching skills. Now this throw over the middle here, that's a first down for David Johnson as he's trying to lead a comeback. Also efficient passing numbers for him. Throwing this one outside now down to the 30-yard line. Johnson 15 for 18 on the day. And then a play action here. Johnson surveying, throwing this one, caught down to the 10-yard line. Johnson leading a dynamic drive here. The former Toledo product, the national runner-up for the Heisman, and the championship loser would throw a pick, unfortunately. And Johnson would be able to run him down. Of course, he's very speedy at quarterback. But Tracy with the interception. And now the Patriots have a chance to go ahead and solidify this lead. Play action. That's Shadon Foster with the sack there. Foster, a superstar at this point at least. Now 3rd and 10. Zach Hurd dropping back. Pocket collapsing. Ball's out. This one would be picked up by the Patriots, but it still would go down as a sack. Eric Armstead and Shadon Foster combining there. So the Patriots, or the Jets rather, have another chance here. On offense, finding Javon Chamberlain. 1st and 10, 5-yard run by Alvin Kamara. Now 2nd and 5, and David Johnson would find his receiving running back for a touchdown. Patriots inside the fourth quarter now have a chance to come back in this game. Down 3. Zach Hurd would find Lamar Flowers, then Juan Reed. Again, these are names you've really never heard of. Of course, we haven't really played the Patriots since they had Tre'Davious White, and then Zach Hurd would find Juan Reed for 21 yards. Sack for 7-yard loss there on Hurd, and then he'd find Cam Powell for a touchdown. So chance for David Johnson to show what he's got as they are down here 4 points. And that would be a nice throw there to James Laughlin. That's rather Foster Moreau. Now a throw underneath that is caught down to the 44-yard line. Johnson up to 233 yards passing on the day. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. This throw would be broken up, however, and that was on 4th down, so the ball would go back over to the Patriots, and they would basically have a chance to put this game away with 6 minutes remaining in the game. Hand off Darius Geis, and that's a nice run down to the 40. Now at the 40, and this is a throw here to Cam Powell inside the 15 now, and the Patriots looking like they would be winning this game if they score here at least a touchdown. Hurd throwing this one out. That is caught Cam Powell on the outside. Now at the 5-yard line, 4th and 2. They're going for it. They want to walk out of Gillette with a win today. Go home, drive, probably about 15, 20, 30 minutes away with a win. And they would get a first down here. Geis up to 90 yards rushing. This time he would be stuffed for a loss, however. As that is Taito Leato. Someone I was very intrigued with at nose tackle making the play. The superstar now. And Hurd throwing this one through the back of the end zone. So the Patriots would settle for a field goal, but they wasted a lot of time. Jets would have all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning, as this play would be broken up and the 2-minute warning would approach. Now 2nd and 10, David Johnson, plenty of time. You just need a touchdown. You don't have to force things too much, but you do have to worry a little bit about time. Now 2nd down and 6, Johnson rearing back and throwing this one out to Foster Moreau down to the 39-yard line. The Jets making quick work on the field here as they would drive down. Now dropping back, Johnson, this one's caught. Now they're inside of a minute. You got to start taking timeouts, but they're going to go no huddle for now. At the 33-yard line, you might have one more play before you got to take a timeout. This one would be intercepted, and that would end the game. Never saw him out on the wing. That's Brian Windsor making the play there. And the Jets would lose this one to the Patriots as Zach Hurd wins in the battle of rookies. So the Jets, not looking too good this year, looking like they'll be picking high in the draft, but I think you can still be pretty pleased with David Johnson going forward. Sam Darnold clearly was no longer the option for them, and if I have a chance to trade some players away that are a little better, maybe Darnold would be traded away as a backup somewhere. I'll definitely take a look at that. One thing I wanted to do was bring back Frank Ragnow. I think he's still one of the better centers on the market, and he was just not interested in signing with us. That was it. We would see if we could use the franchise tag on him, and we'll find out an update on that later. The Bears here taking a dub as Kyler Garrett has a really good game. Josh Jacobs also having a nice game here. And Jarek Lamontague, or Lamontagne rather. It's French, I don't know how to say that. Having a nice game. Trying to see how my boy Brett Kraft did. Unfortunately, no interception for him in this game. And then the Texans beating the Titans once again. Here, the Texans, the team to beat, it seems. Jonathan Taylor, JT, with a 160-yard rushing day. That's going to be hard to stop. Brady Hawkins and Ernie Stachelsky have really good days catching the ball. Zach Schuster really nowhere to be found. How about the Buccaneers? Cole Bryce stomping Ronnie Washburn in his sophomore season. And the Bucs come away with a big-time win here. Devontae Florence, Jamie Sanchez, Chris Godwin. A lot of dangerous weapons on this Bucs offense. Really just one of the best offenses in the nation, I think. They just haven't been able to put it together in this series. The Black Knights win another game. This time the offense actually stepping up to do something. 14 points, the defense definitely held their own. Tyler Davis really couldn't get anything going, and Kylan Hand still not having a great game. Dre Morris did have 75 yards rushing, and Lance Roach had almost 5 a carry and a touchdown off of that. So I think the running splits this game were a lot more impressive. maybe that has to do with Dre Moore starting. Derek Fitzpatrick is your leading London receiver this game, as Maverick Barnes 1 yard behind him with a touchdown. And then on defense, again, the defense came up clutch. That would be kind of the theme of the season. 1 sack for Chance Fortunata, half sack for Jeremiah Weston and Kenny Durkins, but no interceptions for this team. The Ravens lose a 4-point close game to Trey Darius White and the 49ers. It's now his team, and he's making the best of it. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, as they upset the Ravens. J.K. Dobbins does run for 10 a carry and 100 yards, but Kirk Doherty with 5 a carry and a touchdown. Really good to see from him. I hope Kirk Doherty can have a lot of vulture touchdowns this year. Dominic DeHavro, almost with a full century mark of receiving yards. Joshua Jimenez Carrillo has not really gotten off the ground this season. I kind of expected him to have a better year. I know I said Chris Harris was the guy I wanted to go with over Byron Handy, but that doesn't mean I don't want to try bringing Byron Handy back, and he would accept a shorter deal here. He will be coming back. Colin Childress has mostly ridden the bench in his career, and it's his contract year. We're bringing him back. He will be starting going forward, and if we can't bring Frank Ragnow back, he will be the new starting center. How about this game for Christian Armstrong? Ronnie Washburn, despite a great game from Christian McCaffrey, has a bad game to offset things. And a fantastic day here for Christian Armstrong. Really, really proud of him. Hope he can have a nice career here in New Orleans. Of course, the jury's still out on whether they want him to be the guy going forward. Another win for Kyle Linehan. The Black Knights are rolling. And Dre Morris isn't even having that good of games here. Theo Clements, your leading receiver, with Dylan Murdoch 2 yards from 100. And then the defense, again, having a fantastic day. 1 sack for Mitch Newman. 2 interceptions for Jeff Okudah. Really, really good game there. And this would spell the end of the Jameis Winston era in Seattle. It was a short era. Darius McIntyre will now be the starter for the Seahawks. I think this one was long overdue, frankly. And we will get to see personally how his debut game does, as Darius McIntyre is now being given the chance to lead a team. I think the former Heisman winner, has been long overdue, like I said, for a starting spot. And let's get into this one against the Los Angeles Rams. A little division rivalry here. And that is Jelani Tavai, who's still on the Seahawks. Of course, Jared Goff still the starter here in Los Angeles. I don't expect that to remain after the season. Goff starting to age quite a bit, showing his age, definitely not high in overall anymore. But I think he's still solid at least. Would be a good backup or a good bridge player. Nice run here, by the way. And that is Cam Akers. No, that's Emmett Hurst, rather. I believe Cam Akers is still on the team, but Emmett Hurst getting the lion's share of the carries. Now, this one thrown over the middle, and that would be dropped, almost intercepted. And out comes Darius McIntyre for the first time today. He would be hit on that throw. Now, 2nd down and 10 at the 19-yard line. Darius McIntyre in the gun. Very comfortable in the shotgun. Of course, he also likes the pistol quite a bit. It's under center that he really doesn't thrive as much in. Sammy Odom still leading the way for the Seahawks. They, of course, also have Ryan Westergren, who I think will get a lot more touches down the stretch of the season. Now a handoff here for Odom, and that will be a 1st down. Seahawks ran Odom a lot last year, and I think they plan to do more so this year. He was very effective. Now the lefty throwing this one out. That is caught. It'll be near a 1st down there. Darius McIntyre throwing for 7 yards. Now 3rd and 3. And it's a handoff. Odom would be stopped for a loss here. Or actually, rather, a yard gain, if anything. But now I check in. I wanted to play with Darius McIntyre, and my first play, I'm taking off and running with it. This will be a nice about 10-yard gain here, 8 officially, as we'll go into the 2nd quarter. And again, I don't want to do too much of this, but it's my boy. I haven't played with him since Olympia, and I was taking off and running. Now this one was open, DK Metcalf down the field, wide open. Instead, I like to run with it. I mean, D-Max speed, you got to. He's only 2nd to Lamar Jackson in that regard. And he can sling the rock, too. Nice throw here, finding Will Dissly. Now 1st and 10 at the 29. Why not take off and run up the middle with it? I promise I wasn't only wanting to run. But he's so fast that running lanes are always open, and here he goes again. If you don't put a spy and a contain on him, he will gouge your defense up. That's just what he does. Now a read option, a designed run this time, and walking it into the end zone and flying like a Seahawk. Darius McIntyre, welcome to your team. I'm pretty sure Seattle ownership saw that and they were fully accepting of his future. Let me take another drink here as we continue watching. This is a long video. I don't think I'll be doing it all in one take, but to this point, this has been a single take. I'm having so much fun watching this though. So yeah, give me 1 second here.
That's good for a Seattle Seahawks. First and goal at the 9-yard line.
Of course, we're watching more gameplay here as D-Mac runs it on his own. Now a first and goal at the 9-yard line. D-Mac in the gun, empty set. Yeah, he's going to keep taking off and running with this one as he gets down to the 1-yard line. Does not officially score on that play. But then a handoff here for Sammy Odom would get the touchdown. Darius McIntyre was electric this game. And I will have you know, I have built a playbook for him in Season 2, or rather Epilogue 2, so that when I watch the games, there will be designed runs. Now, he obviously runs a lot on scrambles. I want more designed runs for Seattle. I think that's something they really should be used to. Russell Wilson ran a lot of those back in the day. I think of Colin Kaepernick with the 49ers offense. I definitely want to mimic something like that. I really think Lamar Jackson compares to Colin Kaepernick a bit, and that he's got the legs and he's got a decent arm on him. Nothing great, but definitely solid. Really strong arm. Just the accuracy's got to get under control. Definitely relies on the running a little bit. Seattle in control of this game, however, up 5 here in the third quarter as D-Mac finding Alan DeConti over from the Chicago Bears. And then a 7-yard run for Ryan Westergren, a 3-yard run, and again, expect him to get the majority of the touches down the stretch of the season. I think Sammy Odom's solid, but Ryan Westergren can do that for you. 21-9 lead, and we're checking back in with the Seahawks. Great field position here. Darius McIntyre wants to probably put the finishing touches on a fantastic game for him. Not the best passing, but I thought he was solid. Nice run here for Sammy Odom down to the 1-yard line. Over 100 yards on the day. What a tandem running back duo they've got. And then Odom powering his way into the end zone. This game was over, and the Seahawks era under Darius McIntyre would start with the win. Of course, we'll get to watch one more drive. It's my boy. I had to. How about this throw here? Not bad. Just a quick zip down to the 18-yard line. McIntyre having comparable throw power, I would say, to maybe around QB 18 or a little higher in the NFL. Maybe closer to middle of the road. But, again, very strong. Definitely NFL caliber. Just not necessarily Kyler Garrett's arm, obviously. Nice throw here to go ahead and finish off this drive. This was a stomp. N'Keal Harry with the score. 35-9, and we would go ahead and sim the rest of this one. There's just no point. D-Mac was just dominating, and I was really happy to see it. It's about time he gets his chance. 42-15 your final score. 246 rush yards. Yeah, between Ryan Westergren, Sammy Odom, and D-Mac, you're gonna have a good game running the ball probably. More design runs are coming in Seattle's future. Let's go ahead and look at the stats here. D-Mac, a $146 passing, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 80% completion percentage. He just did what he needed to. You don't have to do too much in this offense, I feel like. 75 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. 1 touchdown for Ryan Westergren at 54 yards, and then Odom with 2 touchdowns. Okay, I was wrong. 95 throw power. D-Mac, he can sling the rock a little bit. And he would officially get his contract extension after this game now as the starter. He'll be making around $20 million a year going forward. I think this is pretty fair given his overall and the fact that he hasn't started a whole lot. I think of it kind of like Jordan Love's deal in the NFL currently in real life, except not quite as many dollars, which isn't that surprising. For Jordan Love, maybe overall a little better. Bears, a rematch with the Vikings here, and I mean, I just expected a little more from these teams as the Bears take that one. And then Christian Armstrong not having a great game in his rematch with the Falcons. Falcons coming away with this one as they take down the Saints. The Saints had a nice run or two, but I think it's all but over for this team. How about the Black Knights winning a division game against the Packers? Jordan Love throwing for 1 touchdown. Nice day for Kai Linehan, still throwing a pick though. I don't know if he's had a game without a pick this season. Dre Moore is still not really getting good average here, 2 a carry. The experiment's not really working, but we're winning games, so it's hard to argue with it. I didn't want to change anything, so I left him in the starting lineup, giving Lance Roach more spot carries. 2 tackles for loss for Ben Lane, and then Mitch Newman with the tackle for loss. Sack for Mikhail Mooney. Sack for Trey Flowers as well. Really nice to see that. Ronnie Washburn wins Player of the Week. 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I guess Kai Allen with an interception and Player of the Week as well. And then next week, Wesley Dunmore would win his own Player of the Week, as the Titans still trying to fight and make some noise. How about the Seahawks? An upset victory over the Baltimore Ravens, who were one of the favorites last season and going into this season. Darius McIntyre Magic still, I guess, coming into play. Not as many rushing yards. Again, that's just how Sim is. And then a win here for the Vikings. 5 touchdowns for Tyler Davis. Really impressive game for him. Of course, the Vikings do still have Alexander Madison. Zeke Roberts with 122 and a touchdown. He's coming into his own finally, getting a contract extension, and a very solid tight end in the NFL at this point. Really can line him up outside and do whatever you want with them. The Saints would be back to their winning ways, though, beating Cole Bright and the Buccaneers. I didn't see this one coming. 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions for Christian Armstrong as he puts up almost 400 yards. Yeah, that's a great game. Michael Thomas catching the lion's share of the targets there. And then the Panthers winning this one over the Rams. Ronnie Washburn has a nice game. Jared Goff might be on the outs. Christian McCaffrey still one of the best in the business, if not the best, up there with Derrick Henry. It's really a 1A, 1B type of situation. Jacksonville loses. Minshew Mania loses to Wesley Dunmore. 3 touchdowns at 300 yards. 5 a carry for Derrick Henry, but cannot find the touchdown or the end zone. Brady Hawkins again having a nice game. Stachelski with a nice game as well. And then Schuster and Brown a little over 69 yards. The Black Knights win again, and this time it's not with their defense, it's with their offense. Beating division rival Chicago. Kyler Garrett having a masterclass performance here. 4 touchdowns, 350 yards. Kyle Linehan 3 touchdowns rather, 328 yards. As he has a very good game, probably his best this season. And then Dre Morris with 75 yards and a touchdown on 3.6 a carry. Again, not great numbers for the run game, but I think you got to ride with what's working. Murdoch puts up a $150 and 2 touchdowns as he finally has that dominant game since the start of this year. Really looking for someone else to step up. It seems like we never have dominant games from multiple receivers. On defense, however, Trey Harris still flying all around the field, racking up the tackles. He was one of our most improved players on defense this year, I thought, finally settling into that linebacker role. 2 sacks for Chance Fortunata, as Chance Ellerby actually gets a sack there, good for him. Here's the first look at the playoff picture. Texans looking at the number 1 seed, as well as the Panthers. Black Knights at number 2, maybe to face the Seahawks. That could be interesting. The Chiefs in at a 3 seed, and the Colts making the playoffs in this picture, as the Giants and the 49ers and the Cardinals would also make it if the season ended today. The Bills would be the number 2 in the AFC. How about extension for Trey Harris? No, he's testing free agency. Well, our number 1 defensive player this season, other than Chance Fortunata, doesn't seem to want to come back. And we'll have to see if we can get him in free agency. But with cap space starting to thin a little bit for this team, I'm not sure that's going to be an option. Let's go ahead and jump into this game against Baron Gajkowski and the Raiders, who have been underperforming this season, honestly. Start off on a run here, and Grant with the 3-yard carry. That's going nowhere. Will now be 3rd and 7, as the Raiders going to take this ball. Snap to Gajkowski. Drops back, throws this one, and that's caught down to about the 43-yard line. Raiders just, I don't know. Their offense definitely could use some work, as this throw will go to man once again down to the 43-yard line. Gajkowski looking for roughing the passer. He will not get it. Handoff up the middle. Marcus Grant down to the 32-yard line. Black Knights defense not looking too great on this series. Then Gajkowski, this one gets tipped and broken up by TJ Vinson. I think still one of the most exciting players, and then a fake field goal to man. And they pick up the first down there. A really impressive play call there. I didn't expect the CPU to do that. Gajkowski dropping back. You can't do that to Chance Fortunata. You cannot give him that chance. Fortunata taking a picture with his kill. And then Gajkowski rolling out right on the play action bootleg. Too much time, but also too much time. Nearly gets sacked there by Trey Flowers, and now it's 3rd and 24. Black Knights looking to make a play on defense here. And with 24 yards to go, I don't think that'll be too difficult. They let this one go underneath. No worries there. That's down to the 16-yard line. And now we would get to see the Black Knights get the ball back. They will be down 3-0. So Kyle Linehan still playing his contract out here. You gotta figure out, will they extend him? Will they give him the franchise tag? Dre Morris getting that carry as he's still starting it for this offense. Now a handoff to him, and he'll pick up the first down there. Nice rushing there, 12 yards on 2 carries. And the gun on 3rd and 9. Kyle Linehan dropping back and surveying. Nothing really open, so he checks it down to Lance Roach. This one will be tackled for no first down there. And the Black Knights offense now taking over again in sim. 2-yard loss for Dre Morris. Then a penalty on Chad Breston. 1st and 10. Kyle Linehan throws this one away. And then 3rd and 10. Finding Theo Clements for 24 yards. Still really expect more from Theo Clements in the passing game. But, you know, I think he'll get there. 5-yard run for Dre Morris. 4-yard run for Dre Morris. He's looking fantastic this game. And then Lance Roach spells him for a 3-yard carry. Another 3-yard carry for Lance Roach inside the 7. And then a 7-yard carry down to the 1. And then a touchdown pass to Maverick Barnes, I have to assume on a little fade, for 6. Raiders back on offense now. Gajkowski dropping back. And watch out, that's a sack. Ball is out, actually. Trey Flowers slips down on the play, and he can't recover it. Baron Gajkowski getting back on that one. Unfortunately, the Black Knights, I keep thinking the Flyers. I gotta get used to that. Can't get that one, but then this one gets picked off here. And Chris Harris III will score a touchdown. Gajkowski is just getting hammered this game. And then we would go back to simulation here, watching the Raiders, as the Black Knights defense is special. It's really a special unit. Another interception, this time by Trey Harris. And we would now watch the Black Knights offense come out once again. Theo Clements catching this one down to the 26-yard line. Now 3rd and 3 under center. Weak eye formation here, actually, as the Black Knights are running a... I don't know what playbook I chose for these games. I want to say it was the San Francisco playbook, but I don't remember if that's for certain. Now 4th and 1, they'll go for it, and I love the play call here. That's exactly what I'd call on 4th and 1. Run for Kosi Mensah and a first down. Now down to the 17. Run up the middle. Lance Roach down to the 3. Still has a lot of burst in the tank here for Lance. Almost 5 a carry for him. And then Dre Morris comes in for a power run. And he's one of the better ones in the league for that as a rookie already. That's a touchdown. Black Knights go up 21-3. So Raiders back on offense here, and they need Gajkowski to do something. He's thrown 2 interceptions this game. A fumble, quite a few sacks. Really need their offense to show up in a big way. This one's thrown and caught across the 40 down to the 42-yard line. As 21-3, I think maybe a field goal here before half, a touchdown ideally. And they are fighting here down to the 40. Now no huddle. 1:46 remaining in the half. Gajkowski, play action. And he's holding this one, throwing it up towards the end zone. That's caught. 4-6. Nice play there. And that's Dalvin Colbert with the touchdown. As the Raiders finally get on the board with the touchdown. Well, on the board for more than a field goal, that is. 1:26 remaining here for Linehan and the Black Knights offense. And can he lead a 2-minute drill here? Nice throw to Maverick Barnes down to the 37-yard line. Now in the gun. Linehan finding Clements here down to the 46, and we'll take the timeout. Alone in the gun now. Linehan taking off and running up the middle with this one down to the 40. Officially at the 39, and the Black Knights will take the timeout. And they will go for the field goal here. No. I'm not sure what happened there. I think that's just AI weirdness. But now we'll watch the simulation as the Black Knights finding Sean Stevens for a 19-yard gain. Of course, I do think this will be the last season Sean Stevens is with us, unless he decides to take something very low. Definitely will lowball him. 4-yard run for Lance Roach. Linehan throws this one away. 2nd and 10, finds Sean Stevens once again, and then at 20, Cannot get the first down, as this will be settling for 3. Ricky Rubini kicks the field goal up. And now Gajkowski comes in. Got to make something happen. Pressure from TJ Benson forced, and this one gets away from Byron Handy. Again, there's a reason I wanted to bring him back on a much shorter, much less deal than Chris Harris. Too much time once again, however. Trey Flowers with his 3rd sack of the game, 5th of the season. I think I'm glad that we got Trey Flowers back on this team. Then Gajkowski throwing this one that is broken up. A one-hander attempted by Colbert. And the Black Knights now with a chance to really put this game away. Maverick Barnes injured, but it would be nothing too serious. 5-yard run, Lance Roach. Then a 9-yard run by Kai Linehan. I'd like to see more simulating runs for QBs. 21-yard pass for Stevens. 11-yard pass to Dylan Murdoch. And then 1st and goal, 10-yard throw, Dylan Murdoch for 6. This game was over, 34-13, your final score. Black Knights just had the defense. I mean, the offense was decent, nothing great, but decent. Did what they needed to do, really. Didn't make mistakes. As Baron Gajkowski, same cannot be said for him in his 3rd year. 61%, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a fumble. Dre Morris scores a touchdown on the game, 3.5 yards a carry. I did like how many times they gave him the ball in simulation. I think that was very intriguing. 4 yards a carry. Lance Roach still getting 12 carries, so I like that as well. Receiving, Tyler Mann with 87 yards, no touchdowns. Henry Ruggs with 72 yards, no touchdowns. Not a great game receiving for us. Maverick Barnes, 18 yards and a touchdown. Murdoch, 35 yards and a touchdown, so they didn't really do a whole lot. Colin Gregg gets a few catches as well. And then on defense, as we see Vernon Boatwright, the former right tackle for ours, gives up quite a few sacks. Montez Sweat, really good game. I thought Bakari Williams had a good game. And then on sacks wise, Chance Fortunata and Trey Flowers share 3 sacks each. Really good game from the defense here. Chris Harris with a pick, Trey Harris with a pick. We're going to extend Zach Meredith, a 3-year deal. Cheap. I think he's a very solid backup Mike linebacker. And then the Giants here. Austin Belton taking this one over the Saints, as the Giants need to continue winning to have a chance at the playoffs. And the Packers win this one over the Seahawks. Unfortunately, D-Mac cannot get the win over Jordan Love, the guy I was comparing him to a bit ago. Ryan Westergan, 24 yards. He did get 2 touchdowns, but not a great game for him. Titans win this one over the Chargers, and the Titans were now trying to fight their way back into playoff contention. Of course, Daniel Jones put them in a hole, although he didn't have a bad season. But they didn't start off well this year. Now, with Wesley Dunmore, new life is breathed into their offense. How about New England? Thought Tre'Davious White was a good signing for them, but Zach Hurd, a touchdown, 300 yards, and I think there's a new era here in New England as Burnett gets a few carries as well. New look at the playoffs, as we're still 1-2 with the Panthers and the Black Knights. Still have the Cardinals and the Giants and the 49ers. And then, yeah, pretty much everything's still the same here. Currently looking at statistics, Cole Bright leading the league with passing yards. Kyler Garrett also in the top 10. As obviously we're not going to be anywhere on this list with Kai Linehan. Kyler Garrett throwing the most touchdowns in the NFL with Lamar Jackson. And then most interceptions goes to David Johnson and Justin Herbert. Not a great year for Justin Herbert. C-Mac has the most rushing yards in the NFL at 6 a carry. Really good year for him. And receiving wise, or rushing wise rather. No, receiving, I don't know what I'm saying here. Probably about time for take 2. Really good seasons for a few guys here. Dylan Murdoch is in the top 15. Average a game, Jamie Sanchez up there. Still Odell Beckham doing really well. And then run after the catch. Really good year for Paris Campbell. Devontae Florence. Let's get back to some re-signings. If we're going to take Jimmy Shelton and sign him again, I think he's a really good backup left tackle. And then we're getting into this Broncos game. See you in a second.
Well, what was a second for you is now ready for me. So here's Kai Linehan in the Denver Broncos game. Starting off his first possession here with a really nice run of 12 yards. I think one thing I want to see more from him is scrambling. Takes the snap here on 1st and 10 at the 39. And Lance Roach out to midfield and down at the 47-yard line. A good run of about 12 yards himself.
Now taking the snap in midfield. Linehan finding Dylan Murdoch. Murdoch with the spin move and across the sticks down to the 37 as he's nearing 1,000 yards on the season. Taking the snap here at the 34 and then finding his target there. Nice throw to Davide Flake. Now under center, 1st and 16, and Linehan is sacked. Number 57, Bruce Bolden with the sack there. Now under center again, 2nd and 25. It's a handoff. Lance Roach with a big seam here down to the 28-yard line. He's got 8 yards of carry already in this game. Of course, this is a vaunted Broncos defense led by Dusty Hale and Leighton Vander Esch. And now the throw to the end zone broken up for Maverick Barnes by Derek Frost, who I missed out on a few years ago in the draft. Nice run here. That is J.J. Thomas, the former Olympia Raider, now the lead running back here in Denver. And Drew Lock still their quarterback. Of course, I expect them to move on from this season, but I've expected them after the season. I've expected them to move on from him for a while now. So, and he's throwing darts down this field, down to the 32-yard line. Now dropping back on the snap here, throwing this one to about the 16, and that's caught. 1st and 10, actually the 17 rather. Now 3rd and 9, play action. Drew Lock standing, waiting, throwing this one towards the end zone, and that is broken up. But that will be in range for a Broncos field goal. We check in later in this game on a 3rd and 10 where the Black Knights are down 3-9. Linehan finding Theo Clements there for a 1st down. Now 1st and 10 at the 36. Linehan finding Maverick Barnes running across the middle of the field there down to the 44 as we near the 2nd half. Now Linehan with the handoff, Lance Roach, and he'll get down to about the 46-yard line. 3rd and 2. Linehan would roll out here and find Dylan Murdoch. I thought this was one of the best games to this point at least of the season for Kai. He was really on the money, making good, smart throws, finding Maverick Barnes on the slant there. Can't go down, and the Black Knights score to put themselves ahead by a point. Now 3rd and 8 on the Broncos here on defense, and TJ Benson with the sack as the Black Knights would force the stop by the 2nd half. So we do a little slow simming here. Cortland Sutton catching a pass there. Then Noah Fant still on the Broncos, surprisingly, after all this time. J.J. Thomas loses a yard on a pass. Then Drew Lock gets sacked by Trey Harris. And then on 3rd and 17, a big pass to J.J. Thomas for a 1st down. Then a loss of yardage by him. And then finding Mike Reynolds for 16. Then a 5-yard run by Cortland Sutton. Then a 5-yard run by Kerryon Johnson as the Black Knights defense is kind of folding here. And the Broncos would score with a pass to Jerry Jeudy. Back on offense for the Black Knights as they would get to running the ball, and then Kai Linehan throwing the ball away. 3rd and 5, finding Dylan Murdoch for 13 yards. Lost by Lance Roach there. And then a big pass to Maverick Barnes down to the 29 as we'd see him get a few targets this game. Lance Roach with a run. Seemed like Dre Morris was not getting the primary carries anymore. It was back to Lance Roach. 10-yard penalty by James Lincoln. 2-yard run by Lance Roach. And then Kai Linehan sacked by Bradley Chubb. And Theo Clements could not get in the end zone, so the Black Knights would kick a field goal going into the 4th quarter. Broncos again here. 1st and 10, finding Cortland Sutton. 2nd and 4, Drew Lock throwing the ball away. And then on 3rd and 4, a big gain here for Jerry Jeudy, as the Black Knights defense just wasn't holding up as well as it normally did. Drew Lock surprisingly pushing the ball down the field with a touchdown, and now find themselves in a 2-score deficit. Kai Linehan would have to have a really good end to this game to have a chance, and it wouldn't start well. Intercepted by George Saros, and the Black Knights would falter here with Kai Linehan throwing the game away essentially. As we'd watch some of their offense now in slow sim, down 18. I mean, what are the chances here, right? 2nd and 3, throwaway. 3rd and 3 now. And Sean Stevens catches this one. So we're at midfield. Theo Clements catching one. 2nd and 5, Dylan Murdoch. We're really spreading the ball around at least. Then Theo Clements again. Then 2nd and 2, a throwaway. Now 3rd and 2. A pass to Theo Clements. Okay, so we're really focusing tight end on this drive. Another one to Theo Clements. And then on 2nd and 1, Sean Stevens for 13 yards. Now 1st and goal, a little loss by Lance Roach. And this is just taking too much time. Finally, a pass to Dylan Murdoch steals the touchdown. But that would be the end of the game, as the Black Knights would lose to the Broncos. And their defense really just clamped us down in the second half. We did end up with 300 passing yards. I thought Kai had an okay day, honestly. I mean, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 300 yards isn't bad, but end of the day, when the running game isn't helping out that much, you got to be perfect in the pass game, and unfortunately, we were not that. One thing I did like from this game is we spread the ball around. You can see Murdoch, Barnes, and Clements all got over 70. All almost had 80, and Maverick almost had 100. Even Sean Stevens getting 50 yards on the day is pretty impressive. And then on defense, I didn't think we looked all that great. We definitely got a few knockdowns, got a few sacks, but nothing much. No takeaways. This was not exactly the defense's best game. And we'll jump into the Black Knights versus the Cardinals now, as we get to watch some Kai Allen and Javius Bentley. And this was actually in the NFC wildcard game, so we kind of just jumped straight into the playoffs. The Broncos game was the final game of the season, as Linehan throwing this one to the end zone, and it's picked off. Greg Williams with the interception, and we're here in the 3rd quarter, and this score was already 23-3. Kai Linehan throwing another interception. And needless to say, the Black Knights would lose this game. The season would be lost just like that. Byron Murphy with the pick 6 there. And we just go ahead and simulate the rest of this, because Kai Linehan, I mean, he was just terrible. And I think this kind of signaled that this was the end of the Kai Linehan era in London, or Salt Lake City, as it were, I suppose. As 30-10, I mean, you'd have to score again and again to even have a chance in this game. Down 20 points, still a 3-score game. Black Knights are moving the ball really effectively. So maybe they can at least make a go of it here. But 3rd and goal knocked away. 4th and goal, touchdown Maverick Barnes. So, I mean, things getting a little interesting, but again, they just really didn't have the time to come back in this game. When you go down that kind of score, and when your quarterback's throwing those kinds of picks. We'll watch one final drive here, but spoiler alert, it's not going to be enough time. Unfortunately, that would be the end of the season for the Black Knights. And again, this was pretty much it on Kai Linehan. It reminded me a lot of Austin Belton. Even when I wasn't controlling him, he was just throwing picks left and right. As he goes down here, Javius Bentley and Ramon Jeffrey combining for a half sack each there. 2 of the best edge rushers in the league. Really like Kenny Durkins and Chance Fortunata. Nice throw here on 3rd and 23, but now it will come down to 4th down, and obviously this is for the season after 2-minute warning. Broken up, and this would be it officially. No point going forward from there. The Black Knights lose to the Arizona Cardinals in really a game that I didn't expect. Now, the Cardinals have a fantastic defense, but I didn't expect the season to end like this. It started so poorly, and then the defense helped us win so many games in a row. And it ends with us just getting blown out, really. Yeah, end of the Kai Linehan era. He would not get the contract extension after this year. Now, a franchise tag would be considered, and we'll see whether that gets used or not. But this would be effectively the last contract he ever played on outside of the franchise tag. So we will see if the Black Knights extend that to him in the postseason here, or the offseason rather. But that would be it for the Black Knights postseason. Now we do have other teams to watch, as he would finish the game with 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. I do have some plans to watch other teams, and we will do that in just a second after we finish looking through the stats here. Running game was just abysmal, never could get it going. And when you have to rely on a passing game with the quarterback as unreliable as Kai Linehan, that's not a great combination. One thing I was interested in seeing would be Tyrann Mathieu, to see if he retired. I did like having him at strong safety, and I kind of wanted to bring him back. Our defense as a whole I wanted to run back. Trey Flowers was also someone that might retire though, so a few key pieces that we could lose just due to age. Now we're going to watch the Carolina Panthers, as I've been really excited to see Ronnie Washburn's journey here in the NFL. and they would face the Minnesota Vikings. So Tyler Davis versus Ronnie Washburn, a little fun matchup here. And C-Mac starting off with not a very good run as we're 0-0 in the second quarter. Not been a very fun game to watch so far. This one would be broken up on 4th and 11, and so the Panthers would kick a field goal. Tyler Davis on offense now, a nice throw here. No, ball is knocked out and picked up. Derek Brown with the fumble recovery there. And the screen pass does not work out in their favor. Now the Panthers with great field position, as Washburn has DJ Moore on this team, probably his best target, and of course Christian McCaffrey. And this will be a score here. Touchdown immediately for the Carolina Panthers. DJ Moore with the score. And it's 10-0 already. Vikings really in the hole. They need to get something going here. Nice throw here to the 34. As Alexander Madison getting touches, and you may know him from my Raiders series. Now 3rd down, this one caught, but taken down before the first down there. And so that would go nowhere. Panthers would score another field goal later. Now on offense once again, and Alexander Madison with a nice run. He's averaging almost 5 a carry this game. Now 1st and 10 at the 30. Tyler Davis dropping back, throwing this one underneath. Justin Jefferson rather, catching this one still on his feet. And get down to the 46. So 1st and 10 now at the 46 here. Tyler Davis dropping back, throwing this one. Caught over the middle. That's a nice play. The Vikings offense is solid. It's not great, but it's solid. It does a lot of things well and not a lot of things great. As Madison taking this one down to the 27. He is having a fantastic game, however. Now 1st and 10 at the 27. Tyler Davis throwing this one underneath. And that is caught. Laviska Shenault to the 20-yard line. Now 2nd and 3. And it's an end around. Justin Jefferson breaking a tackle and hitting the Jets. And Jay Jettis would score here. As the Vikings would get their first score of the game. And it's 13-7 now. So we'll see how Ronnie Washburn responds. A nice throw here to DJ Moore down to the 47. Hangs on despite the contact. Ronnie Washburn now empty set in the gun with Christian McCaffrey out wide. I can't say his name. C-Mac. And Washburn going to throw this one underneath. That is caught. And ball is out, recovered by the Vikings. I'm not sure if this would stand. We would see here, and it would. So Vikings get the ball back. Now we're in the 4th quarter. And Derek Brown. No, actually that's Javius Butler there. I forgot they have Derek Brown and Butler. And now Tyler Davis missing Laviska Shenault. And the Panthers will get the ball back with really good field position here. Just got to run the clock down really and score to win this game. 5-yard run by Ronnie Washburn. Then an 11-yard run by Christian McCaffrey. A 6-yard run by Christian McCaffrey. 7-yard run by DJ Moore. So we're just getting everybody the ball in this drive. And then Christian McCaffrey scores a touchdown with 4 minutes left. Now 3:30 left in the game, and the Vikings down 14 points. Throwing this one out, Justin Jefferson caught. It'll be 3rd down and 1, or 3 rather. Davis in the gun now. He's got 1 tight end out there. That's Irv Smith. And he's going to throw this one underneath to Justin Jefferson. So a 1st down. About the midfield marker, about 48-yard line. But you don't have a lot of time to dawdle here. You got to score, and you got to keep all 3 of those timeouts. Now throwing this one, Justin Jefferson again down to about the 33-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 now. As this is going to be the last play before the 2-minute warning. Tyler Davis running out of time. The ball comes out. It does get picked up there. Brian Burns with the sack. Don't forget about Brian Burns. How did I forget him? They have Derek Brown, Brian Burns, and Butler here as he sacks Tyler Davis. They'll have to take a timeout. And with 1:20 left and 2 timeouts, this game's all but over. And that pick would seal it as the Panthers would win. No, pass interference. So nullify the interception by Emmanuel Tolliver. Davis, one more shot here. Check down, screen. And he'll get down to the 1-yard line. So with 1 minute left, this is a chance to score. Alexander Madison checking into the game. And Davis under center, dropping back. throwing this one to the end zone, Justin Jefferson. So a one-score game. This would all hinge on the onside kick. They would not get it, and the Vikings would lose to the Panthers, as the Panthers having a very good season. Washburn looking like he really might be the franchise quarterback here, which is good to see, and Tyler Davis maybe having a bit of a letdown season himself. Final score 21-14. I thought the offense was really good for the Panthers. Of course, it was mostly Christian McCaffrey. The passing game wasn't really there, as you can see here. Rushing yards though, McCaffrey, I mean, he didn't have like great averages, but 130 yards on 30 carries. He just got force-fed the ball, and I think that's what you have to do. Of course, he's always useful in the pass game, but they didn't really look to utilize him that much that way this game, more of a traditional running back. And then on defense, the Panthers defense really stepped up. Ja'Carri Butler, Brian Burns, Derek Brown, really good front four. And now we go ahead and take a look at the Broncos versus the Colts here in the playoffs. So we're kind of bouncing around a few of these playoff games. The Broncos had a decent season, nothing spectacular. But when you have Drew Lock at quarterback, a decent season's not bad. The Colts, however, have had a really, really good year. Miguel Stanley has led them to a great record. And this is really their game to lose, as they start off 7-0 here in the 0-7, I guess, in the second quarter with the deficit. They would get the ball back, however. Hand off, and that's going to be a safety. Unfortunately, Mitch Meadows cannot get out of the end zone, and that's immediately a safety for the Broncos. So 9-0 your score here in this wild card game. And Drew Lock and the Broncos offense pushing the ball here. 8-yard run carry on Johnson. And then 7-yard run for Jerry Jeudy. And then a pass to Courtland Sutton. Now 2nd and 3. Knocked away by Stacks J.J. Hammonds. And then forced incomplete. And that'll be a field goal for Mike Harris. So 12-0. Miguel Stanley and the Colts need to get something going, but Dusty Hale with the sack here on 1st and down. And then Miguel Stanley with a huge bomb to Sammy Hawkins. 80-yard touchdown there. And suddenly the game is looking a little more manageable. Stanley checking in here with the ball once again. Eddie Jong with the catch and run there. Stanley 4 for 5 for 100 yards. As really that's all made up on one pass so far. Stanley throwing this one underneath. That is caught down to about the 39-yard line. Now 1st and 10. And it's a handoff. Eddie Jong up the middle down to the 44-yard line. 2nd down and 5. Stanley dropping back. He's going to throw this one, and that is caught. Stanley really pushing the ball here as the Colts offense seems to finally be humming. Stanley throwing this one over the middle, and it's caught. And Stanley 7 for 8. He has not thrown an incompletion since early in the game. Stanley dropping back once again. Pressure coming down on him though. Russell Thornton, the best defensive tackle in our league, takes him down. Now dropping back once again. This one's not going to be anywhere near a 1st down. And the Colts will have to settle for 3. As we go into the 4th quarter, it's 20-13 now. So the Colts really got to make a comeback happen. And Stanley has still not thrown the ball too many times this game, but 230 passing yards. Now he's dropping back. Blitz picked up, but it doesn't matter. You've got to get rid of the ball. Russell Thornton, another sack. This Broncos defense can just hit you every which way. They're so good. Eddie Jong catching this one down to the 36, but now it is 4th and 5, and this game hinges on a big play here. They would get a 1st down, however. 7 minutes left in this 4th quarter. Russell Thornton again. 2.5 sacks. And these are huge sacks. We're talking 14-yard loss. Miguel Stanley. Time's running out. He does find his target this time, though. Big 1st down and then some. Running to the end zone. Untouched. And he will score. And the Colts are back in this game. Blackwell with the huge catch and run, and now it's a tie game. Drew Lock, what can you do? Well, a nice throw here to Noah Fant, and he might be gone. 30, 20, 10, stopped at the 8-yard line. The Broncos answer with a huge play of their own. 2nd and goal here at the 1-yard line. Lock to the end zone, touchdown Noah Fant. And the Broncos have taken the lead once again in this wild card game. Miguel Stanley, you've got to answer here. How about a check down to Eddie Jong? That's always a reliable play. The Olympia Raiders fans should know that well, as he's over 300 yards passing on the day easily. Stanley, time's running out, and he will not be sacked here. But then Russell Thornton gets to him, almost intercepted, knocked down by Dusty Hale. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. Now 3rd and 2. That should have been the game right there. Stanley, time is running out. Russell Thornton, the best interior pass rush game I think I've ever seen. And now the Broncos a chance to put this one away. A score here all but ends it. Run for Kerryon Johnson, and then another run for Kerryon Johnson. 3rd and 7. A big pass to Cortland Sutton, and that will do it, as they won't even necessarily have to kick a field goal. I think they might actually here. 3-yard run, Kerryon Johnson. And then, no they won't, Micah Reynolds, big pass. So the Broncos, an upset win over the Colts, and a disappointing end to a great season for Indianapolis. Miguel Stanley having a good game too in the wild card here, but unfortunately just made too many mistakes. And you know, the running game was decent but never was great. Eddie Jong having a lot of 4 yards of carry, but he didn't get too many carries there. Mitch Meadows only getting 4 carries. I think you got to lean on your running game a little more. You got to get those guys going. Jerry Jeudy had a great game. Noah Fant had a good game, and then Sammy Hawkins, some really big catches from him. Blackwell as well had that one huge catch, his only catch of the game. And then of course you got a defense led by Dusty Hale, Leighton Vander Esch, Nathan Ridley, LaRussell Thornton, Derek Frost. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to beat these Broncos. As we look at the divisional round here, the Broncos would face the #1 seed Bills, Chiefs versus the Jaguars. The Giants would take on the Cardinals. The Giants ended up with the #1 seed, by the way, and then the Panthers taking on the Washington football team. So we'll check in here to watch some Austin Belton gameplay against these Arizona Cardinals. Belton looking to win another Super Bowl. Been a few years since he won that first one. His first season away from Salt Lake City, actually, with New York. Immediately took him to a Super Bowl and won it. Now 2nd and 5, and a pick here. Well, it didn't take long. I remember Austin Belton well, and he does the same thing Kyle Linehan does, which is throw an interception to Byron Murphy. And they would start with a 6-0 deficit here in the first quarter. Still having Saquon Barkley, of course, one of the best running backs in the league. Now 2nd down and 3 at the 32. And Belton snaps this one, dropping back, throwing this one caught. They have Artie Slaughter as one of their best, if not their best, wide receivers. Darius Slayton, of course, really good. And then George Pemberton, very solid player as well. It's an okay Giants roster. It's nothing great. Austin Belton, of course, a really good quarterback. But as a whole, this team is, I think, bigger than the sum of its parts somehow. Belton having a nice drive here, though, as they are pushing the ball down the field. Darius Slayton with the catch there. Now 3rd and 7. Belton throwing this one over the middle, and that is caught by Saquon Barkley down to the 22. So the Giants pushing the ball pretty effectively here. Now 2nd and 9 under center. It's a play action. Belton airing this one out. Caught down at the 7-yard line and held on to, surprisingly. So 1st and goal at the 7 now. Belton dropping back. And he will score. Touchdown here. The Giants scoring. Adam Trotman with the catch. And they would take the lead, but that would be short-lived. So 16-7 here in the second quarter. Not much time left. And this one would go for 6. A big-time catch and run there. Studebaker with the catch and the run. And the Giants would go down 2 in the second half. So a nice first half there for them. And starting second half off with a screen pass to Saquon Barkley. Now 3rd and 2 at the 33. Belton in the gun. Takes the snap, drops back here. And time runs out. He gets hit as he throws. This one would unfortunately result in a punt. And again, that's what happens when you have Ramon Jeffrey and Javius Bentley. Really good pass. This team reminds me a lot of the Broncos, actually. You got your Kai Allen, Derek Frost comp in the strong safety slot. You got Isaiah Simmons / Leighton Vander Esch and Dusty Hale at linebacker. And then on the defensive line, Nathan Ridley, Russell Thornton. I think compare very similarly, Bradley Chubb even, compare very similarly to this Cardinals front four. Of course, I think the Cardinals front four is the best in the business. Nice throw here down to the 41. Down 9 points, the Giants, the #1 seed on upset alert here. Saquon Barkley, a nice run with a nice spin down to the 27-yard line. Not necessarily having the greatest game. I mean, he's getting a lot of average, but they're not running the ball a whole lot. And then Belton throwing this one down to the 8-yard line. Belton over 200 yards on the day now. 2nd and goal here, and a touchdown. And the Giants would inch closer to evening this game back up. 23-21, they get the ball back with 1:37 remaining, and this is what Austin Belton's made of here. Comeback Central, and Saquon starting it off nicely with a run down to the 39-yard line off the catch. Now 2nd and 6, this one thrown and caught down to the 48-yard line. Belton really relying on Saquon Barkley in this passing game. 2 timeouts remaining for the Giants as they'll throw this one to Saquon Barkley. Guess who? Down to the 39. No huddle now with 2 timeouts remaining. You don't need 6, you just need a field goal. And Belton throwing this one down to the 28-yard line. A timeout would be taken, and they would run the clock down. And for the win and the divisional round, the Giants would hang on. They would not get upset, and they would beat the Arizona Cardinals, who I thought looked really good, but the Giants did what they needed to. Upset here as the Panthers get basically shut out by the Washington football team. Washburn really can't get it going. Dwayne Haskins has a good game. Christian McCaffrey shut down this game, no 130 yards, and Zeke Roberts leads all receivers with 9 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. Great to see that from Ezekiel Roberts. The Broncos upset the Bills. The #1 seed going down, and the Broncos' miracle run continues. Josh Allen not having a good game here. J.J. Thomas getting about 48 yards. And then receiving, nobody really did it for the Broncos. Guess what? It was their defense once again. Really, really solid day here. Dusty Hill, Eric Kendrick, and then 2 sacks for Bradley Chubb, 1 for Leighton Vander Esch, 1 for Russell Thornton, interception for Justin Simmons. The Chiefs would take the game here against the Jaguars as, hey, Tari Mason throws for a touchdown in this game. Might be his team next season. Not a great rushing day for the Chiefs, but it didn't really matter. They did what they needed to do here. Donald Gillett getting 50 yards in this game. John Fernandez getting a lot of catches, actually. And then on defense, Chris Jones, of course, Shaquille Griffin. 2 sacks for John Wester, or tackles for loss for John Westerman. And then 2 sacks for Chris Jones. As the Chiefs looked really good. And then in the Conference Championship, the football team continuing their great season, upsetting the #1 seed, the Giants. Austin Belton's Super Bowl return would have to wait. Zeke Roberts another 70 yards in this game. Really, really great to see from him. And then just defensively, the Giants couldn't hold the football team. Really just didn't show up too much here. And the Chiefs finally shutting down the Broncos. Your defense will only be so good against Patrick Mahomes. Your offense is going to have to be good enough to match, and theirs is not, unfortunately. Got to look for a new quarterback in Denver. The Chiefs defense stepped up and did what they needed to do. The Broncos defense just couldn't keep up with the greatest quarterback this game has ever seen, potentially. And the Chiefs and the football team, I wish they had a different moniker in this series, would meet in the Super Bowl. Now let's look at some Pro Bowl. Kai Linehan making the Pro Bowl, I don't know about that. Austin Belton also making the Pro Bowl. CMC, Kosi Mensah, Colin Atkinson making the Pro Bowls as well. Artie Slaughter, Jamarcus Lockhart, Jamie Sanchez, T. Higgins, Odell Beckham still making it. Chris Godwin, and then Dylan Murdoch making it as wide receiver 6. And then at tight end, we have some guys that have been in the series for a long time now. And then on the offensive line, Mitch Flaherty makes it. Frank Ragnow makes it. Of course, the Saints players, Eric McCoy and Cesar Ruiz make it, as well as Ryan Ramczyk. Ali Marpet makes it. And then on the defensive side, Chance Fortunata, Jakari Butler, Ramon Jeffrey. I mean, this is just a great great league we've seen defensive player-wise. Russell Thornton, Jay Terry. More good players. Javius Bentley. I mean, just fantastic. Trey Harris making it as a linebacker. Didn't expect that before this season. And then Chris Harris and Brett Kraft making it at cornerback too. Good for them. Of course, Minka Fitzpatrick. And we don't see any Chiefs players here because they're in the Super Bowl, so that kind of makes sense. I'm assuming quite a few of them would have made the Pro Bowl though as well. Ricky Rubini, your kicker, Pro Bowl representative. And J.J. Thomas makes it as a punt returner. League MVP goes to now the Super Bowl potential winner here in not Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Offensive Player of the Year as well going to him. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Harold Landry. Didn't expect that, but a really good season for him. The Titans looking to maybe continue with that. Rookie of the Year, David Johnson edges out Zach Hurd and Wesley Dunmore. Jong and Schuster also in the running. Jay Moore makes it here on this list along with Pele Latu on Rookie of the Year defensively. And then best QB, no surprise. Best running back, Devin Singletary, actually. Best wide receiver, Paris Campbell. Best O-lineman, Quentin Nelson. That's not too surprising here. Myles Garrett, best defensive lineman. Yeah, kind of expected. Harold Landry, yeah, if he wins Defensive Player of the Year, he should probably also win Linebacker of the Year. And then several good defensive backs here on the defensive back list. Best kicker goes to Mike Harris. And then Offensive Rookie of the Year, or Offensive Player of the Year in the NFC goes to Jalen Hurts, actually. Really good season for him. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Trey Harris. Who would have seen that coming? Really good season for him. This would, of course, give him a dev upgrade, as Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Christian Armstrong. Okay. Dre Morris finishing second. Very surprising. Colin Atkinson, a fullback, finishes top 5. Defensive Rookie of the Year, James McIntosh gets edged out by Skinner there. Tyler Zanderley, top 5. Justin Jackson also in the top 10. Dwayne Haskins wins best quarterback. Rest in peace. Best running back goes to Saquon Barkley. Denzel Haswit, top 5. Of course, none of our running backs here. Best wide receiver, Jamie Sanchez. Dylan Murdoch does make the top 10. And then Frank Ragnow, Mitch Stanley making the top 10 with James Lincoln. James Fortunato gets beat out by Kenny Clark, a division rival for best defensive lineman. I don't know about that. Best linebacker, no surprise, goes to Trey Harris. And then best defensive back, George Sims barely beats out Chris Harris for best DB. Chris Harris, great to see from him. Let's go ahead and jump into the final game of the season. It is your Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs making it once again. Of course, no surprise, they've been really good in this series. And they are going to face the Washington football team, who's had a great season. We'll see if they're going to hang on to Dwayne Haskins going into next season. But Zeke Roberts been their best offensive threat, as they start off 1st and 10 with a nice run here to Lionel Sawyer. Now 2nd down and 3. 3rd and 4 now for the Washington football team here, as they're going to drop back. Ball comes free, and that is picked up by the Chiefs. A strip sack there. Parrish with half the sack. And the Chiefs would immediately score here with 3. And then on offense, once again, Chiefs running down the field. Matt Fitzpatrick with the catch in the Super Bowl. Good for him. Of course, the Chiefs also have Aaron Jones. I mean, this is a great running back core here in Kansas City. CEH down the field, 2nd and 10. Another run by CEH. And then Patrick Mahomes past Coates. Clyde Edwards-Helaire with a touchdown. Here's a little end around to Ezekiel Roberts. How often do you see a tight end around? Well, with Ezekiel Roberts, you want to do stuff like that because of his speed. Now Terry McLaurin catching this one, and he'd be gone. 30, 20, 10, gets behind John Schweiss, and he will score. Terry McLaurin's got game-breaking speed when he gets the ball there, and he scores. So, 3-point lead now for Kansas City, as Ezekiel Roberts with the catch there. And then Dwayne Haskins finds Dylan Rowe for a touchdown. The Chiefs find themselves with a 4-point deficit. Now Mahomes finding Paris Campbell. And then a throwaway. And then Mahomes finds Donald Gillett for a touchdown. The former Olympia Raider with the score here in the Super Bowl. Great to see from him. John Schweiss with a huge hit here, by the way. 3rd and 2 now for the football team. And they will get the first down. Of course, this great Kansas City defense led by Willie Gay, John Schweiss, and Curtis Simpson there. It's a fantastic linebacking core for these Chiefs. Of course, they have Tamani Bulware, the former Flyer, in the secondary. And now the football team really pushing here. Zeke Roberts has been everywhere this game. 1st and 10 at the 37. Now 2nd and 12. Haskins. This one's caught. Zeke Roberts, I don't know how that wasn't intercepted. Dwayne Haskins is having a phenomenal game so far, by the way. And then this throw to Terry McLaurin down to the 11-yard line. Now 1st and 10 at the 11. And Haskins intercepted. Willie Gay Jr., one of those 3 star-studded linebackers I was talking about. They intercept that one. Tyreek Hill a pass. Donald Gillett another pass. CEH. And then Tyreek Hill. 3rd and 3. Aaron Jones comes in. This is just such a good team. And the Chiefs score again. It's a 10-point game now. Dwayne Haskins got to make something happen here. How about Zeke Roberts again? We're inside the 30-yard line down to the 21. I gotta tell you, I don't know who I'm rooting for here. I want to see John Schweiss and Curtis Simpson win a Super Bowl with Donald Gillett and Matt Fitzpatrick. And unfortunately, I think they're going to here as Dwayne Haskins strip sack. Curtis Simpson on the play. He would get the recovery here as it was forced by Willie Gay. And the Chiefs would win this game. Unfortunately, I did want to see Zeke Roberts win it as well, but Kansas City is your Super Bowl winner here. Washington with a great run. It would not matter. This is a great defense, and it's a prolific offense still. Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Matt Fitzpatrick as a luxury slot receiver pick, Donald Gillett. Yeah, unfortunately, Kansas City's just got too many weapons. They're still so solid in this series. And Dwayne Haskins, almost 400 yards, won't cut it when you have 3 turnovers. Running game was not great for anybody here, but Chiefs just have enough to make it work. 4 yards a carry, that'll get it done. Tyreek almost 100 yards. Donald Gillett 100 yards and a touchdown in the Super Bowl. What a great game for him. Really impactful for the player that I didn't even think might get a team this year. Matt Fitzpatrick also getting 2 catches in the Super Bowl, so good for him. Zeke Roberts having a really good game. And then defensively, the Kansas City Chiefs are stacked. They're just stacked everywhere. They're a really good team. Dante Jackson, I forgot about him. Tackles for loss, Willie Gay. Willie Gay is just everywhere. Chris Jones, one of the best interior pass rushers along with Russell Thornton. John Schweiss, a great linebacker. Curtis Simpson, a great linebacker. Patrick Mahomes is also your Super Bowl MVP. So the Chiefs dominate the Super Bowl. Mahomes wins MVP. And then let's look at retirements. Odell Beckham retires. Tyrann Mathieu retires. Michael Thomas retires. Kamara retires. A lot of big retirements here. Kenny Golladay, the former Lion, also retires. Looking at the final stats this season, running games were terrible, unfortunately, and I think that was a big part of the problem. Dylan Murdoch had clipped 100 yards, 1,000 yards, but never really got it going otherwise. The team as a whole, wide receiving didn't. Trey Harris had a wonderful season along with Chris Harris. I would like to bring back Trey Harris, but he is going to test the market. I'm not sure we'll be able to bring him back. 15 sacks for Chance Fortunata, and somehow he doesn't win Defensive Lineman of the Year. I don't get that. Really great year defensively for us. We leaned a lot on our defense, and unfortunately it couldn't carry our offense at times. And if the defense wasn't on its A game, there was no hope. Looking at offense here, we're not good in the bottom half of the league. Passing yards, right at middle. Rushing yards, we're up there. We're definitely a top half team, but we've lost a little bit of our edge there. And then scoring offense, we're terrible. Worse than we were yardage game. How about defense? Well, we have one of the best. Our defense is top 10. In passing yards, they're top 6. And then in rushing yards, not as good. Still top 10 though. Points allowed, we're second best though. So where we miss in yards gained on offense and on defense, we make up for in score, or not in offense rather. Best passing leaders. This was an interesting list as Mahomes wasn't even up there. Jalen Hurts, the second in the league. And then touchdowns, Lamar Jackson number 1, Mahomes number 2, Haskins number 3, and Garrett 4th. Interceptions, Gardner Minshew throws the most. Jared Goff up there. Justin Herbert, David Johnson, Jordan Love, Baron Gajkowski, and Kai Linehan all tied at 4 with 15. And then yards per attempt, no surprise here. Patrick Mahomes, the leader. Nate Byron, really good backup quarterback. Christian Armstrong with 8 to carry, or 8 to throw. On offense here, Christian McCaffrey is your new rushing leader. Ezekiel Roberts, or Elliott's rather, is kind of falling behind, it seems. Joe Mixon with the highest average yards per carry, but he unfortunately was not playing a lot of the season. Touchdowns, Kirk Doherty finishes second, the captain, tied with Ryan Westergren, as Saquon Barkley has the most touchdowns this season. Jamie Sanchez, your most receiving yards. Really good year for him. Paris Campbell, Artie Slaughter, Ben Goddard. A lot of great names here, as unfortunately no Black Knights anywhere to be seen. And then average per game, and then touchdowns, Dylan Rowe, Justin Jefferson up there. Dylan Murdoch was top 10 in touchdowns though. Now we're looking at interceptions, or rather tackles for loss start. Kenny Clark, okay, I can see why he won defensive lineman of the year. Sacks goes to Danielle Hunter with Chance Fortunata second at 15. Ja'Cory Butler with 14. Javis Bentley at 10.5. A bit of a down season for him, really. Myles Garrett, your sack leader in the AFC with Josh Allen and Ed Oliver. Russell Thornton finishing high on the list. Donald Callahan, Deeza. And then tackles for loss, Donald Callahan, Kamani Hopkins. Interception leader, John Schweiss tied for the most in the AFC. Really good year for him. Derek Frost finishes tied for second. Let's look at some re-signings as we jump into this offseason. Our first in the epilogues here. Eric Holloway I wanted to bring back for $9 million a year. He would not accept that. He would go to free agency. I wanted to offer $25 in 1 year to Kai Linehan. No go. We'd have to try the franchise tag for him. Martin Weston, $3.5 million a year. Nope. He's going to free agency. We would not franchise tag Frank Ragnow or Kai Linehan, and that was because I screwed up and the game wouldn't let me franchise tag them, unfortunately. I missed out on that chance. Here are all the available free agents. A fantastic free agent class. Really excited to see what we can do here. A lot of big names we can go for. Roa Latu currently QB1. Yeah, we need to make up an answer for QB. Even if it's trying to bring back Kai Linehan. I think wide receiver is something we can look at, but I don't think we necessarily need one. We do have Amari Hendricks and Jalen Cannon. And then offensive line, probably our biggest need on offense outside of QB. We need 2 offensive linemen. On the defensive side of the ball, not a lot to do here. Maybe a linebacker, maybe some depth pieces, and another cornerback. Overall, though, I think we're solid here at defense. We really just needed to focus offense, and no surprise there. First move of the offseason, I wanted to offer Kai Linehan a contract here. I was not willing to give him more than 1 year. Now, I'm okay with overpaying for 1 year. I just didn't have a good answer for QB. This draft class at QB is not great. Lawrence Dukes, the Heisman winner out of Georgia, somebody we could consider. We did have the only offer for Kai. I left it in the yellow because I thought there was a chance we'd get him for a slightly cheaper contract. And then Mike McGlinchey is someone I'm definitely going to go after along with La'el Collins. These two would make us probably have the best offensive line we've ever had. So definitely going to try to get them, at least since Brandon Sheriff. Chris Jones was a free agent. You better believe I'm trying to bring him to the team. 34 years old, we're going to offer him a big time 1 year deal here. Looking to offer $15 million. That gets us in the ballpark, but we'll have to up that in a bit. And then Jonathan Taylor. I like Lance Roach and I like Dre Morris, but the answer clearly was not at running back last season. Jonathan Taylor would bring the best running game we've ever seen on this team. I definitely wanted to bring him in. Trey Harris, I obviously wanted to bring him back as we're running out of cap space. 1 year, $13 million. That's not going to get it done. We'll have to give him a better deal. I didn't want to give him more than 1 year though. Keenan Callahan as well. If I could bring him back, I wanted to. 1 year, $7.5 million. That also won't get it done, but we'll leave that offer up. Here's the final results for Chris Harris. For the bids, I offered 100 total points as we offer him quite a bit. And then a big time contract here of about $14 million for Jonathan Taylor. Mike McGlinchey, a big contract. Trey Harris, we'd offer almost $20 million. La'el Collins, $10 million. Kai Linehan, about $20 million. I was unwilling to give him more. Jonathan Taylor would accept, but Chris Jones and Mike McGlinchey would not. La'el Collins would not. big time misses here on day one of free agency. We did get a good running back, one of the best in the league, but unfortunately we lose out on some really big game changers. Jalen Smith, someone I wanted to bring in. I thought he could maybe spot start and maybe be a good depth piece, and he'd be cheap for 1 year, 1.5 million, so what? Keenan Callahan didn't accept, so we're going to have to bump up the offer to $9 million for him. I do think that's an overpay. We'd have to give him a little more because the Cowboys were in the lead there. Eric Holloway. We didn't have a good answer at defensive tackle. Now, we do have TJ Benson and Emi Savea, but I do think Eric Holloway would round out that defensive tackle core. We're going to give him a nice offer of about $10 million, a little more than we would have gotten him for in re-signing. And then Jack Conklin would be my new target at tackle. Thought he would be the best option available. Kevin Byard was aging now, a $2 million contract for a 35-year-old that's a really solid player. I think he could replace Tyrann Mathieu. Steve McKinley's a really good off-ball linebacker. I wanted to try to bring him in to replace Trey Harris since we lost him. And then Kyle Linehan's still available. It's time to up that offer considerably. $36 million for 1 year. That's a pretty nice contract for a player that's not worth $36 million in my opinion. And that would lead interest. We would be rejected by Kyle Linehan. The Kyle Linehan era was officially over. Eric Holloway and Kevin Byard and Jalen Smith would accept, but Kyle Linehan would not come back to this team. We would see who he signed with in just a minute. Jack Conklin would accept his offer. Keenan Callahan rejecting. All the former players of our team wanted out. There was no bringing them back. Trey Harris, Keenan Callahan, Kyle Linehan, all gone. Let's go ahead and see who got him. Chris Jones, and then Frank Ragnow signing with the Falcons. Trey Harris leaves. Kyle Linehan is now a Los Angeles Ram. He will replace Jared Goff in LA, and he got a big time deal. We'll see how that works out for them. Nate Davis was on the board. I wanted to give him a nice fat offer here. Might as well. I have plenty of money now. Cap space is not going to be an issue. How about another off-ball linebacker in Byron Stapleton? Jabril Peppers I thought could be a really solid piece as well. Let's throw out a contract to him. Hey, let's have the best depth team you've ever seen because our starting quarterback is Roa Latu at 66 overall right now. We needed to change that. Russell Wilson I thought would be a very, very solid stopgap solution. Good bridge quarterback. And then just in case he didn't accept, I wanted to throw something out to Jimmy G. Jimmy G would have a very cuttable contract though, so no big deal if he didn't accept. Deshaun Hand. Why not try to bring him back to the team? Give him a nice offer there. Russell Wilson accepts. We get a nice depth guard as well. Deshaun Hand accepts. Okay. Nate Davis rejects a fantastic offer. I didn't see that coming. We would get off-ball linebacker Steve McKinley. Byron Stapleton would actually reject our offer, and then we get Jimmy G. Okay, so we have Roa, Jimmy G, and Russell Wilson. Two aging vets, and I think an interesting rookie, but not one that should be a starter. Let's jump into this draft. The Cowboys picking first here. They would take a terrible pick in Kevin Goodwin. I don't even know if he had hidden development. I think he's a normal development player. 71 overall. That's terrible. The New York Jets would take Eric Little, the best left tackle in this class potentially. And he's from Utah, of course, a custom recruit of our Olympia series. Cordell McClendon to the Bengals. And then Trent Lorenzo, the next best left tackle, going to the Falcons. Hope you didn't want left tackle here in this class. Brandon Dukes, the Mississippi State wide receiver, going to the Raiders to play with Baron Gajkowski. I love this pairing for them. And then Seth Bowers going to the Eagles here with pick number 10. The outside linebacker. I think a solid pick, maybe a little bit of a reach. The Titans taking Courtney Sullivan. So, former Wesley Dunmore's right tackle going to the Tennessee Titans. I think this is a great pick for them. Kerry Kraft, the edge rusher, going to the Seahawks. We never really got to see too much of him. And then Jonathan Doyle here later in the first round going to the Houston Texans, the defensive tackle. The Cleveland Browns, and then the Titans again taking another custom Olympia player. This one from Air Force. Brandon Clark will help with their run game, and Derrick Henry. Lee Williams in the second round going to the Los Angeles Rams to play with Kyle Linehan. The Olympia Mike linebacker, really good run stopper. Tennessee Titans would not take another Olympia player, unfortunately. And then Dick Parrish from Olympia going to the New England Patriots. Albert Cooper from Utah going to the New Orleans Saints. I wanted to get up into the second round here, and I thought Byron Handy would be, I know we just signed him to that contract extension, but I still don't think he is the right player for this team. I wanted to see if he was needed in Miami, so I wanted to see if we could get him there for a second and a fourth, and they would accept this offer, so we would be up here in the second round. We'd have 2 picks in the second. Of course, remember, we've mortgaged our future to get Maverick Barnes, and it didn't really work out for us, I don't think. Jonathan Kendrick was the pick here. A center, hidden development, 6'4". We would probably move him to guard and play Colin Childress at center. And this was an excellent pick here. I think he's going to be a very solid player, a lineman of the future, probably until he retires here in London. Well, we had another pick here at 23. Lawrence Dukes available, Chris Mason from Olympia available as well. But my favorite player in this draft, Matt Owens, is available. We would take him, a bit of a luxury pick here on defense, number 7 in true value. And Matt Owens can kind of plug and play anywhere. I think this would mean Elijah Davis would be primarily playing linebacker, and Matt Owens would be playing more secondary. We'll see though, I can move him around like a gadget piece. Now I want to package my way back up to the final pick of the second round. 3 second round picks, how would that work? Let's give a third, a fourth, and a sixth to the Chiefs for making the Super Bowl winners a little better here with depth. And then we would pick, and I knew this was the pick we needed to do here. Lawrence Dukes, the Heisman winner out of Georgia, is the pick. He's a scrambler archetype. He'll be learning behind Russell Wilson, maybe Jimmy G. And then we do have Roa Latu as that QB3 right now. Yeah, I like that pick there. He's got good short accuracy on day one, but his deep accuracy will need some work. I don't know if he's the QB of the future, but we're going to give it a try at least. Chris Mason will go to the Indianapolis Colts to play behind Miguel Stanley. I like that pick for them. He could be a good developmental piece in case they don't hang on to Miguel Stanley. A pick here in the third round, Sheldon Tyner. We're going to take him, and I think that was a really solid pick late in the third. Really good player here, 93 strength. He'll get to develop behind some great defensive tackles. Don't expect to see him anytime soon, of course. In the fifth round here, what else could we do? Well, we had a few guys I was interested in. We had a good BPA player in Taylor Hackett available. I wanted another lineman though. How about a 21-year-old that's rated to be a 6th round pick? I know it's not BPA, but I just wasn't super interested in taking another secondary player here, if it wasn't cornerback at least. Angelo Poole is your pick. 65 overall. A good run blocking guard though. I think he could develop into at least a backup. Let's go ahead and take a look at these players here. Kevin Goodwin, a normal development. Oh, the Cowboys really screwed up this pick. Not that great of a player here, guys. How about Eric Little though? Really, really good run blocker. 6'8", 20 years old. He's young. Left early to go pro. I'm excited to see him. The Bears taking a big miss here with Edward Hoffman. Not a great player there. And then Trent Lorenzo to the Falcons. 77 overall, pass protector only. So you're going to have to work on his run blocking, but he'll make sure to lock up that blind side. Brandon Dukes is an exciting player here for Baron Gajkowski to get. He's already got Henry Ruggs, and I think Dukes can be that red zone target threat. I really think that Gajkowski is going to make use of him. Seth Bowers, I think a very good edge rusher here for the Eagles. Has some good pass coverage upside as well. Can really play more of that 3-4 linebacker or even the 4-3. And then Courtney Sullivan, an athletic freak from Olympia, but he doesn't have any good skill set yet. So they'll have to work on that. Here's the same thing with Kerry Kraft, an athletic freak with good rush ability. But, you know, the thing with him is play rec. Jonathan Doyle, really just more of a good nose tackle here. 99 strength, really good block shedding, can't rush the passer. So really you're putting him in on 3rd and short run game situations. Brandon Clark, similar, a run game tight end, normal development here. I think he'll be a solid backup tight end. And then Lee Williams here in Los Angeles, I hope he gets to start earlier because he's a very solid, mostly running down linebacker. I don't know if he's an every down linebacker. And then Dick Parrish, really solid player here. This is an every down player. Great run stopping, great power moves. Really the thing about him is, can he get the behind the ears going? Can he get more intelligent? Albert Cooper, a solid run stopping defensive tackle out of Utah. normal development, but I think he's a good depth piece for the Saints. Chris Mason, normal development at 20 years old. I didn't expect normal, well, I gave him normal development, but I didn't remember it was normal development. Not very good arm, good short accuracy, and throw on the run is excellent, but that's it. We'll see if he ever gets a chance. And that is it for your first epilogue. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know how it was. I will see you next time. Have a good one.